Matheny on a Wednesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. 203, your time check. Brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. This kind of sums up the Cardinals season right now. We were signing
we're talking
off.
Cardinals?
Yeah, we're signing off yesterday. And a listener said, don't even talk about the Cardinals tomorrow. Don't talk about it. If they lose tonight, don't even talk about them tomorrow. So we kind of made a pact saying, okay, well, if they don't win,
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. And then Willson Contreras fractured his forearm because J.D. Martinez, got him on the backswing.
Did it on purpose.
He didn't do it on purpose. But isn't that just that's the Cardinals? That's the Cardinals season. Like we could have a little fun, say, well, they lost again. We're not going to talk about them, but clearly we're going to talk about them today because Willson Contreras, one of their only hitters, will miss the next 6 to 8 weeks because he fractured his forearm last night.
Yeah, that looked bad. I'm not going to lie. When I saw that, first of all, the noise of it, you could tell that it hit something that wasn't a baseball or even the catcher's helmet. Like sometimes you get those things that happen.
Or the mitt.
Yeah, which is usually fine. Usually the mitt's nice and soft and it's not that bad. But this time he got the forearm. And the forearm makes a different noise, Anthony.
Yeah.
It sure does.
Bone.
And then you got Contreras that made some noises himself after. Not a good sight. I felt really bad for the guy.
Me too. And this too, he had a quote last night in which after, so Ivan Herrera takes over, and then Ivan Herrera enters, he goes into the dugout at some point and looks at Contreras, and he says, hey, how's the arm? And Contreras says, it's a fracture. I'm going to miss some time here. And Ivan Herrera hung his head, and Willson Contreras looked at him and said, pick your head up because you got to pick me up now.
But
and he will.
Got work to do.
Which is that's one of the few guys with grit on the team that we can tell. This is a leader. This is one of your few bats, and you just lost him for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, and another thing, too, sidebar to this. Sorry, Carey.
No,
I know you want to jump in. A sidebar to this is that Willson Contreras, following the game, made it clear that he wants to continue to be in the dugout, be around the team as much as possible during his rehab and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically something about he believes in the team and wants to be there to help in any way possible.
The Cardinals don't deserve a guy like him. I'm just going to say it.
Wow.
I'm just going to say it. They don't deserve him. This franchise does not deserve Willson Contreras. After you ran him through the ringer, you ran him over with the bus, you backed it up, beep, beep, ran him over, and then went forward again and ran him over a third time. You don't deserve this man. He's the best player this year. He breaks his damn arm. You don't deserve nice things. This is there you go. They don't deserve him. I feel bad that Willson Contreras came here. I don't feel bad that he signed $87.5 million. I'm sure he doesn't either. But the decision that he made, this is not what he expected for his first 2 years, year and a half, in the great city of St. Louis with the BFIB who are not showing up. I don't blame you. You're still the best fans in baseball, just not the best fans in St. Louis because the St. Louis Cardinals ain't giving you nothing to be the best for. Right? You're only the best when you're given something to show up for. I understand that. The Cardinals don't deserve Willson. He is a man amongst men. He took all of that last year, didn't say a word, didn't utter a word, nor did anyone else on the team utter a word until the offseason. Oh, you know what? We could have been better. You know what? Willson was actually fine. Really? You don't think you could have said that 6 months earlier? This man is back there getting hit by bats, getting hit by baseballs at the plate, playing his butt off, showing up every day. He couldn't catch for a couple of games because he got hit with with a ball in his hand earlier in the season. The Cardinals don't deserve nice things right now, and Willson is the nicest thing that they have, and therefore they don't deserve him. You get what you get, Anthony, and you don't have a fit. That's where I'm at. The hell with these glasses.
And why did he get hurt? It's because they had to move him up a couple inches closer to the plate so you can get a strike.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because John Denton had the tweet that said, in an attempt to help catcher Willson Contreras get more low strikes, the Cardinals have moved him up closer to the plate. However, J.D. Martinez batted Contreras on the left forearm, and I said backswing. Somebody corrected me in the snake pit.
Oh, you knew it was coming.
Look, I apologize. I misspeak from time to time.
Yeah.
If I catch it or somebody else catches it, I'll correct myself. I apologize. I said backswing. I got rolling. I made a mistake.
Anthony
not the
Weiss,
dumbest
sorry.
thing I've ever done.
You don't know the text line
Not
anymore.
not the dumbest thing I've ever done or said.
True.
And it won't be the dumbest thing I say today. So I apologize. Thank you to Snake Vic for correcting me there.
I thought you were a dingus.
Yeah, he did. The Cardinals moving.
Says that anymore? No.
The Cardinals moving him up. Look, other teams have done this too. They're trying to improve the catcher's ability to frame pitches. They're trying to get that low strike zone. This is not just a Cardinals thing. Other teams in Major League Baseball are doing the same thing. Now, it's unfortunate that Willson Contreras got hurt, but even he said following the game that he would still, when he comes back, move up in that same spot. He's not going to change who he is. The metrics have actually improved. Mm-hmm. His pitch framing metrics have improved.
Yeah.
So we can sit here and complain about, we can take shots at the Cardinals for they're not the only team. Contreras, from a pitch framing standpoint, he was trying to improve that aspect of it. This is just the unfortunate result.
Yeah, and John Denton reporting that is a nice piece of information, but then Derek Gould kind of expanded it a little bit and said that they had started this a long time ago with Willson Contreras. It wasn't just like, hey, tomorrow night against team X, Y, or Z, you're going to move right up because we want to get that low strike. No, it's something they've been working on for quite a while now, and this is the first infraction. I would suggest the next time, though, that the catcher, whoever it may be, have a little look-see, because when the batter is about 7 or 8 inches outside the batter's box to the back of the batter's box, you should probably tap the ump and say, hey, man, can we at least not make it so obvious here?
Yeah.
And I think that Herrera should be doing that now. Take a look in whoever's catching, because when J.D. Martinez is in that batter's box, he likes to scrape that chalk so that the ump can't see it, and then he's stepping outside. He's hit William Contreras, he's hit him twice already. Mm-hmm. Now he hit Willson Contreras. He's going after the whole family. Hey, Mom, heads up. Okay?
No kidding.
Why didn't he get beaned after that, by the way?
I don't think it was intentional.
Well, hear me out.
It wasn't intentional.
Hear me out. Last time this happened, it was a backswing, a follow through. Somebody did the same thing last year, and
it was the Cubs.
And it nicked Contreras.
Mm-hmm. And Michaelis was on the mound.
And then Michaelis was on the mound. See, Marshy, you get me.
Yeah.
All right? So then Michaelis is on the mound, and then he plunks the next batter because he says just the way it's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. The guy gets his forearm broken. I'm not saying you beat him in the side of the head, Carey, but I'm saying, you know what? You send one into the rib cage or even to the fat of the thigh there. You send, you're not going to hit my catcher and get away with it. They got no damn balls. That's the problem.
Well, I don't think we just
four strikes for that matter.
They got plenty of balls, I think. Throw him a lot out of his own.
The Cardinals' offense has swung a lot of balls this year.
Paul Goldschmidt swung the one that was in the other batter's box, which I don't think he's seeing the ball. I don't know, man.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, man. I just think.
What is he swinging at?
I don't know.
I feel so bad. I feel like it's kind of like when you got that dad when you're growing up who was like an athlete when he was younger, and then he decides to jump into the basketball game with you and your high school guys. I'm the guy too, trust me. And then you're passing the ball and you're like,
here.
I don't, Dad, no.
Yeah, it's still here. Up here,
Dad,
you're still 18.
Sub out, Dad.
But here, from neck down, you're
so much.
You're 40
I told
plus.
you that story. I've been playing hockey at the end of my career, and I'm thinking the game fast. I'm zipping the puck around. I feel like I'm high stepping. I'm on my toes, man. Then I'm checking out the video later on that night. I'm like, oh my God. Am I in a tractor pull?
This looks awful.
I look like I was dragging a Buick with no wheels.
Who is that? Jamie, that's you. No.
That guy sucks. That's you. He's pretty smart, though.
Yeah. Savvy. All right, we're going to continue this conversation with our guy, Brad Thompson. The Cardinals are in a rain delay. We'll see if they can get one in tonight. I don't know. There's another storm coming, or the same storm. I think they call it a cell.
It's called the fast lane, Anthony.
Yeah.
And we're coming.
Another cell is coming through. So we'll see if the Cardinals can get this one in tonight.
What cell you know about?
You know what? That's a story for another time. Brad Thompson next. I want to win ESPN.
That game got you.
for some high heat with BT on 101 ESPN. Inside and high.
Powered by Scott Lee Heating Company, your preferred Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor. Visit ScottLeeHeating.com.
There's no excuse for Thompson throwing at the head of right.
We're going to see the Major League debut of 23-year-old right-hander Brad Thompson, just called up. He's a baby-faced 23-year-old. I talked to him this morning. He's excited to be here, was relieving in Memphis, and his first pitch as a big league pitcher is inside to Damian Jackson. He got him. Ojeda doesn't like the call, and Brad Thompson gets his first big league strikeout.
Well, this is a pitch that Brad Thompson will remember for the rest of his life.
Did he hit
always
the target?
remember your first strikeout? No, not really.
Ricky Orton with a small jab there, but nonetheless, 19 years ago today.
Forget you, Ricky.
In 2005, our guy, Brad Thompson, made his Major League Baseball debut and picked up, yes, his first strikeout. And he joins us via the 101 ESPN Celebrity Line right now. What's up, BT? Congratulations on the anniversary.
Well, thank you very much. A couple of things. One, I have reminded Ricky, I'd say no less than 4 or 5 times today about the shade thrown at my first strikeout. I definitely brought that one. Was it where he wanted? No, not really. No, it wasn't. It was a backup breaking ball for sure. Hardest pitch in baseball to hit. And 2, there's no way it was 19 years ago, right, guys? I still act like a child. There's no way that it was 19 years ago. But it was a fun moment, one of the most memorable experiences of my life, especially obviously my professional life. So it was fun. It was fun to see another debut last night in Roycroft. So it kind of a full circle evening.
BT, let's go back to that moment in 2005 just for a second, because although it feels like probably just yesterday, there had to be some massive emotions going into that. You get up there, you get the ball, you're on the bump, your first chance to do it. Tell us what it felt like that day.
Yeah, no, it was nuts, Jamie, and you know this, and Carey, you know it. The first shift you take, or the first time you take a snap, like it is a real thing. The real emotions that are there. Now, I did have the good fortune of being up for like 5 or 6 days before I actually got into a game. And Tony, I didn't know it at the time, but Tony obviously did. It was like my first day in the big leagues. I get called up and get there late. The plane was like delayed, so get there pretty close to game time. And that evening, in a very tight game, he calls down to the bullpen. Marty Mason's the bullpen coach, and he says, "Hey, get Thompson going." Now, he knew that there was no chance in hell he was going to put me into the game. He knew that. I didn't know that. Out there at Bush 2, I am firing. Guys, I am throwing stuff like halfway up the wall, just like sweating bullets. And then Marty Mason's, all right, you can go ahead and sit down. We'll see what Skip wants to do. Skip did not want to get me in that game. He wanted to get the adrenaline going. And then fast forward about 5 more days, we score 11 runs in the first inning. I'm like, well, I got a feeling that I might end up in this ball game. But it was still so surreal. And you guys remember Bush 2, how big the stadium was and how it would just surround you. I remember jogging in from the bullpen for the 7th inning against the Padres on Mother's Day 19 years ago and just seeing so many people. And it was just so loud. It was such a cool environment. And I know I've told you guys the story in the past, but we crack up when we talk about it. Throw my last warm-up pitch. They're throwing the ball around. The last guy to touch it is Scott Rowland. He's walking up to me, and Scott goes, "Hey, your parents make it in?" I go, "Oh, no, Mr. Rowland. They're probably going to be here in a couple days." He said, "Well, all right. A lot of people here, huh?" a lot of people here. And then he flips it the ball and he goes, "Well, good luck." It was great. And I remember I walked the first batter that I faced. And one thing that you should never do after that is like peer into the dugout and see how your manager's face looks. It looked like you would expect it to look after you had an 11-run lead and you end up walking the first guy that you faced in the big leagues. Tony, I don't think was super excited about that, but it got better. Got the 3-inning save, and it was a really, really cool moment and one that I'll never forget.
That's awesome, BT. I want to shift gears a little bit. Last night we saw one of the best hitters, probably the best hitter for the Cardinals this season, Willson Contreras, get hurt. What was the mood like after that game? What were guys thinking and what were they saying?
Dude, just deflated. I mean, it really is. And it's one where nobody's going to feel bad for you around the league, and you're certainly not going to give up. And by the way, the mood today, a lot better. Not because Contreras is not in there. They need him. And talk about a difference a year makes. You remember some of the struggles, defensively, and just the vibe wasn't perfect around Willson. Well, Willson has turned into one of the better leaders of this team and one of the heartbeats of what they're doing. So missing him is going to be bad. But last night they're down, and you feel for your guy. You get the news during the game that it's a fracture, and you could tell when it happened. I mean, that was a full swing from J.D. Martinez, Carey, that caught him flush, and just the noise that he made afterwards just felt for him. So your teammates are worried about you. You are deflated, but then today you realize, hey, we are in a hole right now. We're not playing good baseball. We got to snap out of it. And there's not one guy that's going to save it. You know that. It's not just Goldie. It's not just Arenado. It can't just be Gorman. It's got to be everyone. Everyone has to do their thing to get back into it. So deflated last night, but I would say encouraged and hopefully motivated a little bit more this morning.
Brad Thompson joins us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. BT, you said it. It is the offense. It's not just certain players. However, when you're watching Paul Goldschmidt from a technical standpoint, even from a former pitcher standpoint, what do you think is going on with his swing right now, or even his approach?
I've just never seen this, Anthony, with Goldie, and he's probably never been through this. He's 0 for his last 24. And what we're seeing him do right now, we're seeing him miss pitches that are down the middle. Like, you're seeing him miss fastballs down the middle, and then you're seeing him thinking so much up there instead of reacting like we've seen him in the past, where he's letting good pitches go. So that whole phrase, caught in between, he's in between thoughts and actions right now, and he's trying to figure out the timing. He's trying to figure out when to get that foot down and when to fire the top side, but nothing seems to be going together in the right direction. We saw his first at-bat on Monday night, drive a ball to right field. You feel like, okay, well, maybe we're getting the timing there a little bit, but wasn't the case last night. The Cardinals had a couple of prime opportunities there in the seventh inning. You had the bases loaded with one out. You had Arenado pop up to second, and then you had Goldie strike out. I mean, those are the guys that you want up in those big spots, but just didn't happen. So here is the one thing that I know, and it's cliche to say, right? Like, guys are going to work and they're fighting. Goldie cares more about what he does and his craft than anybody else. And I don't care if you're the biggest super fan in the world and you love the Cardinals and you have a Cardinal tattoo, and maybe it's a regrettable one, but you got one either way. But Goldie cares more than you do. I promise you that. And he's putting in all the work. I was downstairs earlier. He's in the cages early. He's doing everything that he possibly can to snap out of this funk. So, and again, you pay for your ticket, and you're mad at the product right now, and it's awful. But I hated hearing Goldie getting booed after striking out in that spot. And maybe it's just the situation that's getting booed more than the human being. And I'm not telling you what to do at the ballpark. I'm just saying personally, I hated it because I know what he does, how he goes about it, and how much he cares. But at the end of the day, you get paid $26 million to hit homers, to drive in runs, to be the guy that wins the games in those spots, and that's what he's working towards.
BT, who does a guy like Goldie turn to? Because it's easy for a lot of guys to turn to Arenado and Goldie and kind of work their way up the food chain. When you got a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, who is a former NL MVP, he's struggling. Certainly, I know Turner Ward is going to continue to work with him, but other guys in the clubhouse, people like that, like, where does a guy like Goldie turn?
Well, I think that you do still lean on your veteran brothers, right? I think that he and Arenado lean on each other through time. And you mentioned Turner Ward. You know, remember, Turner is Goldie's guy. Turner was Goldie's guy in Arizona. Like, those two go way back, and Turner knows his swing really well. And the interesting part from just a mechanical standpoint, you guys watch a lot of baseball. Do you see anybody else in the big leagues hit like Paul Goldschmidt hits?
No.
So it's very difficult to think. Like, he is very segmented when you're looking at his swing. It's like the foot's down, then the upper body fires, and the finish is a little weird. Like, you don't necessarily teach the way that he goes about it. So from a mechanic standpoint, it's kind of hard to walk him through it. So I think that Turner, especially with him, and not that he doesn't know the mechanics of the swing, 'cause he knows it inside and out as well as anybody else not named Paul Goldschmidt knows it. But I think a lot of it is just the mentality of going through it and the mental side of it. 'Cause I don't care if you're a rookie that's trying to make a good impression or you're a veteran that's been around a long time, the struggles are real, right? So having that sounding board, having somebody that you can walk through and talk through with things, I think really helps. But I really do think it's just kind of the other veteran players. And I'm sure that he's got trusted sources that we don't really know, that he just kind of talks to, confides in. Maybe it's his parents, it could be his dad. Who knows exactly, what it is. But it is important to be able to have people, you guys know that, instead of just compartmentalizing all of that stuff and feel like you're attacking it by yourself.
BT, obviously the hitting hasn't been performing at the level we wanted to, but the pitching has been pretty much outstanding. I think has been much better than we expected in this offseason, coming into the season. What have you seen different from last year to this year just in the pitching staff, the starting pitcher, the starting rotation?
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, starting rotation, I'm seeing 3 new bodies, right? And 3 new bodies that are veterans and know what they're doing. Sonny Gray's a different beast, right? That's the reason that you gave him the contract that you did, and he is putting up obscene numbers. Got a .89 ERA. That's one of the best in baseball. He puts all of his pitches where he wants to, and he just flat out competes. Like they might not have the same stature, but on game day, watching Sonny Gray go about it, he reminds me a lot of Chris Carpenter. Just the bulldog and the fight that he has in him. But he's so smart when he's out there. I enjoy watching the approach. I enjoy getting to, hopefully getting a chance to watch him today as the rain is still coming down here at Busch Stadium with no real idea of when this thing is starting. But you're bringing in veterans that know what they're doing. You brought in a competitive nature in Lance Lynn, who I think that has helped a lot of young pitchers, and not just pitchers. I think he's one of those voices that the entire clubhouse will listen to. Kyle Gibson is getting you deep into ball games and giving you a chance to win. And a chance to win out of the rotation is something that you didn't feel like you had too much of last year, right, guys? Like it was flip a coin. You don't know what you're going to get. Right now is you're getting a lot of good starting performances, but you're just not getting those runs to back it up. And the hope is through a 162-game season that will end up that there are times where that flips on its head. The offense carries the rotation, and then you get that sweet spot when both of them are working, and that's where you end up gaining some ground.
BT, good stuff as always. We appreciate you joining us. You think they're going to get a game in today?
Guys, I have no idea, to be totally honest with you. Apparently the rain is supposed to be – the heavy stuff has not hit downtown. I don't know how it is in Creve Coeur where you're at. We haven't seen the tennis ball-size hail here yet. No huge thunderstorms, but they're still waiting. I'm looking out right now. Tarps on the field, but we haven't got any word of what time this is going to happen. As you guys know, the Cardinals are heading to Milwaukee. They have a game tomorrow. The Mets do have an off day, I believe, but obviously that doesn't correlate with the Cardinal schedule. So fingers crossed. I just know this. I have eaten way too much already. We go over to the radio booth. The radio's got all the good food. I've had a couple of plates of nachos. I've had a burger. I had a Ted Drew's ice cream. And now I'm going to walk on this treadmill that Chip bought. Sometimes we walk up here now. You got to stay fit when you're eating like that.
BT, it's a good thing you still get paid, though, right? Rain out or not?
You know that, Jamie. Look, within 2 hours of the game, sometimes it's like a little behind the curtain. Sometimes I root for the rain out so you can get paid again if you can, So that's called the old double dip.
I love it, brother. I love it.
Good stuff, BT. Hey, congratulations again on the 19-year anniversary of your debut.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, good memories for sure. And you guys have a great rest of your show, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. See ya.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks. That's Brad Thompson, World Series champion here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Why are catchers even moving closer to the plate? There's one distinct advantage that they have, but the risk, well, we saw it last night. We'll get into it next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose to the Mets last night by a final score of 7-5. Also last night, the big news of the day, Willson Contreras suffered an arm injury after being hit by J.D. Martinez. Contreras' recovery time after surgery for his fractured arm is about 6 to 8 weeks. We'll continue talking about that situation throughout the remainder of the show. The Cardinals are also in a weather delay right now, so we'll keep you updated on that one as well. We just got done talking with Brad Thompson. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. This Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
You know, he's close to the plate trying to steal strikes, you know, and as pitchers, we appreciate that. But, you know, if we knew he was going to get hurt, I'd rather throw all balls than have Willie get hurt. And thinking about it after the fact, I think there should be a line back there, you know, for the catchers and just have them stay behind the line. That way no one can get any closer than the next guy. And if you put them back there in a spot that's deemed safe, that might help guys. And if it might help umpires because all the catchers will be in the same spot and no one will be closer up or further back. And, you know, you see a lot of catchers get dinged like Willie last year in the helmet. I see it happen, you know, almost, I feel like half a dozen times a game this year. You know, guys get big, long swings, and having somewhere for the catchers to area that's deemed safe at a distance, I think might be something the league wants to look into.
That was Cardinals starter Miles Michaelis last night following the game after it was announced that Willson Contreras will miss 6 to 8 weeks after undergoing surgery with a fractured left forearm. With Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers and Matheny Stalter's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. And you may have seen the tweet from John Denton, who covers the Cardinals for MLB.com, that said, following the game, in an attempt to help catcher Willson Contreras get more low strikes, the Cardinals have moved him closer to the plate. However, J.D. Martinez's bat hit Contreras on the left forearm during his swing. Then talked about Contreras and what transpired after he got hit. This is not anything that is specific to the Cardinals.
No.
There are other teams that have used this approach with catchers. There is the risk, and we saw it unfortunately last night, but they're trying to get that low strike called for pitchers. And when I say they, I mean all teams, all catchers in baseball, not just the Cardinals and Willson Contreras. I realize that, and if you listen to our show, you know that we're very critical of what we're seeing right now with the Cardinals. This isn't one of the times that I think you just pile on. Contreras even said himself last night that he will go right back to using the same approach. Why? Because it has helped him with pitch framing. And he wants his starters, or all pitchers, I shouldn't say starters. He wants all his pitchers to have that advantage. So even after he gets back from the fractured forearm, he's still going to be in a position where he's going to attempt to get that low strike.
Why is that, though?
Why is what? Jinx, you owe me a, drink.
Why are we getting to the point where the catchers actually have to move up? Is that because of the umpires? Because they stink at their job? Is it because, pitchers can't throw strikes these days?
No, it's a depth thing. One, look, if we're gonna praise certain, and it doesn't have to be baseball, if we're gonna praise certain coaches or teams for gaining an advantage, right?
For sure.
That we all wow, that was amazing. Look at they're willing to do to win. We can't then be critical of a team taking this approach. I think, and I don't know, I've never been an umpire, but our guy James, sweet voice James is an umpire. Maybe he can chime in on this. But when you're further from the away from the plate, perhaps that low strike is more difficult to see. So you're trying to give the umpire a better look at that low strike.
Hey, you're trying to steal a couple strikes. That's
Absolutely.
what you're doing.
That's what you're doing.
That's a whole framing process is stealing strikes. Come on.
Why? How long has this been going on for, though? I'm trying to get to the root of.
I would assume that it's happened because Ivan Herrera got hit with a backswing earlier this year as well. He got hit in the head, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe it's both of them, scooting up. And I think You said William Contreras for the Brewers got hit as well. Like, maybe it's
I think it's league-wide,
and it's happening. And I don't fault anybody. It's sports, man. Some things happen that are out of your control. You get hit by a bat, you get hit by a ball, whatever the case may be. Generally speaking, people aren't intentionally trying to hit someone. I don't think that J.D. Martinez lined up in the back of the batter's box with the intent, if he puts his hand out here, I'm going to swing and hit it. No, I'm trying to gain an advantage for myself as I'm J.D. Martinez, and Willson Contreras is trying to gain an advantage for himself. Both parties are doing their job to the best of their ability, and a mistake happened. And so now for the Cardinals, it's the worst thing. It's one of the worst things that can happen because he's been your best hitter, your most consistent hitter all season long, and he's going to be out for about 2 months. And when he does come back, you know, the season may be down the drain at that point. We don't know. Who knows what's going to happen?
Or they could be in first place, Carey.
Yeah, maybe, probably not.
I'm just trying.
When did you get here, Mo?
Right. You put your red glasses on.
Thank you for noticing.
I just think, it was a mistake. It's unfortunate. I don't think you look to blame anyone. I don't think you say, oh, he should have did this, he should have. It's sports. I mean, you run into somebody, something you do all the time, and they break an arm, or you dislocate a shoulder, or whatever the case may be. You hurt your dang on stuff. You break a wrist, and I've done this move. I've done this 100 times, in the last 2 weeks, and this time it just snapped. So I don't think that it's a huge issue. It's unfortunate. And the Cardinals are going to have to figure out a way to figure out how to supplement that offense that is going to be missing with him not in the lineup.
I don't know. I'm not trying to blame the Cardinals or Willson Contreras or anybody. I'm just wondering, like, at what point did teams start to push the catcher up a little closer?
When they notice they could steal strikes.
Well, I understand that, but I understand that. I'm talking about
been around for hundreds of years. 100 years.
Yeah, why weren't they doing that earlier? I'm talking about player safety. And
because the strike zone continuously has changed.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Well, maybe you're also in the mindset, Marsh, of getting an automatic strike.
That's kind of where I'm leaning.
I think that's where it's headed anyways.
You would fall into that camp.
Especially now when the league starts seeing some injuries or some things happen. And Marshy, I sent you those numbers that Bernie Michaelis had. I'll try and find them here on the fly. Bernie Michaelis had said something out via Twitter X with these numbers, and here it is that if I can find there, 2014, one catcher interference infraction in 810 games. 2015, one every 809. 2016, one every 809. So it goes here to the point where in 2019, there's a bit of a shift. It goes from 405 in 18 to now one every 80.9 games. Then it drops to, in 2022, one infraction every 65 games. All the way to where we're at today in 2024, there's one infraction every 32 games.
So you go. In 2019, somebody started to figure it out. And because all sports are a copycat league, you start to do the same. You start to implement the same thing, trying to gain that advantage. If you look over and your opponent is stealing that lower zone because your catcher is moving up a little bit, you're going to do the same thing with your catcher. So to answer your question about 2019, I don't think that this is necessarily a knock on umpires. It is at some point, you're trying to gain the advantage. You know that the umpires, it's a tough call for them to make that lower strike, so you're going to move up a little bit.
And you're putting yourself at risk if you're a catcher. I mean, and you know that. You know you are sacrificing your hand, your wrist, your forearm to gain a strike. You understand that. You understand you've moved up. Clearly, it's in 2019. The numbers have dropped drastically for how often it's happening. Mm-hmm. You know what you're putting yourself into, and you know what can possibly happen. You're trying to gain an advantage to help win your team a game. I think that's the bottom line. And then that's unfortunately that Willson Contreras is the one that is the one we're talking about because he fractured his forearm because he's trying to help his team win. Mm-hmm. Might be the only one.
All right, last night certainly frustrating for Cardinals fans. If you kind of went out, you branched out, watched some other sports, you saw an epic night in hockey. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and I got big news from Window Nation. It is their semi-annual sale now through May 31st, and it's a really big deal. For a limited time only, Window Nation is celebrating by giving you 50% off of all windows, along with 0% interest for 5 years. Yes, 5 full years, plus an additional bonus savings offer if you schedule an appointment right now. Your old windows, if they're leaking water, have condensation, are they moldy or rotten? Maybe they get hot to the touch, or you're just tired of paying the high utility bills and heating and air conditioning, which is a big deal. Window Nation semi-annual sale can replace your windows and save you a big deal as well. Hurry, this month only, get 50% off of all windows plus 0% interest for 5 years. Bonus savings offer if you schedule that appointment today. Put an end to your window problems and get them installed before the summer heat. All they do is windows. They are experts. Last year alone, they installed over 200,000 windows with a 96% satisfaction rate, requiring no follow-up service. So schedule a fast, no-obligation, in-home consultation today with the pros at Window Nation. It's easy. Call 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com.
What an epic night in hockey. It's kind of nice to watch some sports that are exciting, some teams that are exciting, some teams that actually play well.
OKC Thunder played well.
Your Cardinals.
We're talking NHL.
It's time for hockey right now, Carey. We'll worry about NBA later, okay?
All right. We have a
Thunder did play well,
Hey,
though.
tell you what,
Yeah.
Carey, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal.
Let's
for
make a
real.
deal. All right.
I mean, true to my word, that tomorrow and Friday you can
to
talk
hell with
all
that.
about the NBA.
Where are you going to be?
All
What
about
time
it.
you going to be here tomorrow?
Tomorrow and Friday,
He's making us a deal when he's not going to be
we'll
at
talk
work.
basketball. We're going to break that stuff down, baby.
We'll save it till Monday.
Where are you?
He's out of town.
I got a little business something in Vegas for a couple days.
You were just in Florida.
He's a well-traveled man, Anthony.
Closing deals, Anthony.
Yeah, he's
ABC,
well-traveled.
always be closing.
101
gosh.
ESPN.
Please tell me. Yes, it's happened.
Today's game between the Cardinals and the Mets has been postponed. It will be made up Monday, August 5th at 4 p.m. Central Time. That is according to
wanted a
Katie
body.
Wu.
What were you hoping happened?
I wanted a body.
You wanted someone to lose their
Sacrificial
job?
lamb.
knew
Just
there
wait
wasn't
10 minutes.
Somebody's got to pay for this.
We'll get into that. But last night, those two games, the two hockey games, were phenomenal. That Rangers-Hurricanes game, Rangers open up the scoring, but by the end of the first period, the Canes had a 2-1 lead. Rangers tie it up. Canes take the lead again. Rangers tie it up in the third period. Goes to 2 overtimes. Multiple chances on both sides. Igor Shesterkin, incredible.
That jerk.
Anderson played well as well. I mean, there's a couple of opportunities the Rangers had was 2-on-1 or a couple of breakaways, and he did allow the one breakaway at the end, the second overtime winner. But both goaltenders, had bad moments and had epic saves. But I thought that game was incredible.
I'm sorry, there's nothing quite like NHL playoff hockey. There just isn't, and. I give full props all the time to the Super Bowl because that's obviously the most dramatic one-game championship that's out there. It is, by far. But when you talk a full body of work of playoffs, I don't think there's any other sport that provides the elements that the NHL does, whether it's good goaltending, big hits. We see guys are like almost murdering each other out there. Big goals. The crowds are hyped up. The overtime rule, which is you play till someone scores, that certainly is exciting. Get a little bit long at night sometimes, and get to bed a little later than you want, but still it's exciting. Carolina Hurricanes had 57 shots on net last night. It was like 112 attempts on net. So Igor Shesterkin, he certainly answered the bell. He won that game for the Rangers. I mean, I'm not single-handedly, because other guys played well, but he won that game for the Rangers. I still think Carolina wins this series, and I'm bullish on it because Carolina plays such a fast-paced game, and they direct so many shots to the net. So Shesterkin, he better hope that his body can recover for the next game, and then the next game, and the next game, because it wears down the goalie. And the goalie gets a little slower as the series goes on. And if they get another 45 to 50 shots next game, that's a lot. The goalie starts to wear down a little bit. So I still think Carolina Hurricanes win this series, but that was a hell of a game. And Colorado is living proof of right now, so far in the playoffs, they can outscore their opponent. Because Georgiev is, he's hard to hit at times.
He looked good in the first period, didn't he?
Oof. But again, Colorado so far is able to kind of outscore its problems, ultimately. We'll see where that leads even as this series moves on, because I feel like the Oilers are in the same predicament. They've got to just absolutely trounce the opposition 4, 5, 6 goals a game to give themselves a chance.
At least you know who you are. You know who you are. You know you have to score. And
but ultimately, that doesn't usually usually end up working.
But if you're going to be great at one thing, you kind of got to lead. Yeah, you got to lean into that. And I think guys moving forward, that was the biggest collapse in playoff history in any sport. Last night, I think we now view that game as the biggest collapse in any sport.
Any sport?
In any sport, the absolute biggest collapse.
NHL.
Now,
3-0 in hockey. That's like 28-3
in the second
football.
round.
Yeah,
What about a championship game?
No,
you speak of 3. I mean, one team has 3 points.
Listen,
and the other one has.
Wait, did Colorado come back all in the third period?
No, they did. They chipped away.
Well, yeah.
It was all, that was.
Now, it would really suck if you were a team that had a really huge lead and you just had like one period or one quarter left
and the team
to play.
scored like 2 touchdowns with, I don't know. 5 minutes left in the game or something.
So you guys agreed last night, biggest
No,
collapse
I don't think we agree.
in playoff
in
sports
fact, we're
history.
saying quite the opposite.
I think we're actually on the opposite end of what you're
Yeah,
saying.
you guys aren't hockey guys. You don't know about the 3-0 lead.
It's the worst lead in hockey.
No.
Anthony, I'm thinking of the Toronto Maple Leafs when they lost to the Blues many years ago.
Many years ago.
So you still think the Hurricanes have a chance even though they're down 2-0?
Yeah.
Because of all of the shots they're getting on goal.
Just the
If
pressure
you're the
they put
Rangers,
on.
how do you stop that? Like, is it just body on body or physicality or just
Quite honestly, it's more puck management.
they're not taking
You
care of the
almost
puck?
have to make your game a little boring.
Got you.
But then the Rangers are going to have a difficult time doing that because they have a team that's similarly built to the Carolina Hurricanes, but they don't have the overall team speed and they don't have the overall skill on the back end from their defensemen. Like the Hurricanes are a nightmare. When you watch them play in the offensive zone, like their defensemen end up down. 2 defensemen will end up down underneath the goal line. 2 forwards are playing defense. Then they're cycling the puck. They're back down. Now you got a defenseman at the blue line, 1 behind the net. Like you're trying to track these guys.
You don't know where they are.
Where the hell are they going? They're like the Globetrotters, you know, and they move the puck very well. So, yeah, they're down 2-0, but now the next 2 games are in Carolina, where, by the way, it's really, really hard to play there as the visiting team. They got a hell of an environment there. The Hurricanes play really well at home. And following that loss, that's one where Coach Rod Brendamore says, hey, boys, I get it. That stings. But the process tonight, we do that again next game, we win.
Right.
And then once we get that 1 win under our belt, we just keep going.
I like the Rangers. I liked them
I'm
last
taking
night.
the Rangers too.
I liked them
All
in
right.
game 1. I liked them last night.
Let's have some fun with it then.
Well,
You still haven't given me credit for last night's win. You got up all up in my face last night about it.
What?
You ever see
the board?
Hey,
Yeah,
You lost?
I'm willing to
You're
parlay
not.
this, and these two.
I don't want to see Carolina. They're boring to me. I don't want to see them play. I'd rather see Boston and New York
Who's
play.
boring to play?
Carolina.
Are you out of your mind?
I don't like watching them.
Well, that's your. They are not a boring team.
They're a boring city.
We could pull
They're not an
100
NHL city.
NHL guys.
City.
That's like Nashville being in the Stanley Cup. When they played Pittsburgh, I didn't care about it.
They got bounced.
They did. They got smoked.
Vancouver got them this past round.
But I'm saying from back then, New York Rangers, Boston Bruins, New York Knicks, Boston Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals. Both sports give it to me.
You're just about the storyline.
I've always been about the
It
storyline.
has nothing to do with who's good.
I've always been the storyline guy.
You don't think Cleveland Cavaliers have a chance, eh? Lost by like 25.
And lost Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, man.
So,
My 12.5.
nah.
He was like, yeah, that does seem like a lot. It wasn't enough.
You know, as soon as I said that, you should have been like,
Give me the something.
let's flip here. Marsh, did you hit yours?
Yeah, the Mets won.
Oh, that's right.
And Brendan Donovan hit a home run, so I went
I
2
did
for
get
2
that.
yesterday.
Wow.
I got a home run and I got a hit. So
I got a hit. I didn't get a home run.
I had Contreras. He
got hit.
Oh, he got hit.
He did get hit.
That is awful.
That's awful.
not great.
Cardinals don't deserve
Carey-
him, man.
Carey Davis,
Now,
folks.
I am a Willson Contreras fan.
Yeah.
I might be the #1 fan around this city. The hell are we talking about? Other than his family. Sure.
Somebody on the text line wants to make it a Speedo bet. If I win, you guys have to wear a Speedo that I pick out.
Oh,
And
man.
if you win, you guys can pick one I'll wear.
You like wearing
He
Speedos,
does.
though. That's
Like,
no
that's
punishment
not-
for you.
That is not
you know what?
punishment.
How about this?
Do the waffle bet.
Oh, the one you guys committed me to?
We're waiting on you to sit in this studio for 8 hours and
double
eat
or nothing
waffles.
then.
Eat
Double or
this.
nothing.
Yeah. You know what? All right. If Carolina comes back, we'll wear the Speedos, okay?
We'll eat the waffles.
If the Rangers hold on though,
Can he eat the waffles
2
in a
straight
Speedo?
shows, you need to eat a bunch of waffles. We'll
2
set-
straight shows.
So, but
Yeah.
what odds am I getting here? Because I'm coming into this bet down 2-0. So you got to give me some kind of odds.
We're not. Well, we're wearing
You feel
Speedos.
really confident
Yeah.
in your team. It's not our fault. They're down 2-0.
I got to eat waffles?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
a whole week.
I'll eat the waffles.
No,
not
you
a
just-
week. See, yeah,
now-
that
now you
is
just
a lot.
change it.
I think a day.
Well, I'm thinking.
Well, then you got to
On
wear the
the fly.
Speedo.
Can we-
Actually, no, hang on. Then if we're going to do that,
You got to do it during the show.
you got no, it's even better. You got to put that sucker on at home and drive into the station and wear it.
And wear it
Yes.
the entire show.
Yes.
4 hours.
Ah.
You and Marsh. I
And
will.
if I happen to send you out to go get me a pot belly or something, you gotta go in the Speedo.
Why would you be sending me out to get Potbelly from
I
you?
don't know. Why not?
You know what? This isn't much of a punishment either.
Bet. Yeah.
Waffles are delicious.
He's down, though. In fairness, he is down 0-2. I'm just speaking.
Carey, what the?
I'm not in this. I'm not neither. I mean, sitting here watching him eat 10 waffles would be hilarious to me. But watching you two drive into work in a Speedo and then prance around here to go get some pot bellies. I don't know.
Again, why would we be getting pot bellies and why would we be prancing?
I just feel like
if I'm wearing a Speedo going to pot belly, I'm running.
That would even be better.
Right,
can we even wear that around?
Why can't you? It's a swimsuit. It's a swimsuit.
You just wear a shirt over pants and then you just come in here. Yeah.
No.
How about that? No. That's not what Jamie wants.
The only thing I'll allow is if you wear the skinny white tank top with the Speedo on your way in.
Like the Borat look?
And a big gold chain.
There you are. Hey.
Unbelievable. All right. Is it time?
I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this.
Yeah. This
your team can win.
This went sideways. Is it time for someone to fall on a sword for the Cardinals?
Jamie, I was hoping so.
Or get hit by a bat.
Oh, no.
Well, we already did that.
Right.
Yeah. Now we're talking more about like the front office this time.
Oh, yeah, I like this talk.
That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you are currently thinking about selling your home and you're kind of stressed out because the market's, it's changing. Every day the market changes, whether it is the availability of homes or the interest rates that are fluctuating up and down. It can be a difficult process to try and figure out on your own. So why do that? Don't do that. Call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria Lou has been in the business for such a long time, and she's going to be there to answer all your questions, guide you in the right direction, and at the end of it, she's going to be able to sell your home. Gloria Lou has thousands of ready buyers in her exclusive database. These buyers create a higher demand and more money for you, maybe even multiple offers. That's where you get the good money. Gloria Lou also has the guaranteed sales, and that's where Gloria sits down with you. You guys figure out a list price, then Gloria sells your home for that price, or she buys it herself, and she guarantees all of that in handwriting. So please pick up the phone, call Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions to apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the sales price as well as the possession date.
7:06, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. This next conversation is brought to you by something the Cardinals will never do, but we're going to have it anyways.
Wait.
Hey, he's not wrong.
What? I didn't know it was sponsoring.
The Cardinals will never do this.
While you were out.
Good job, Blake.
Yeah. We made some calls.
Good.
Cardinals will never do this, but at this point, with where they're at in the standings, coming off of the Chicago series, the rain saved you from being swept by the Mets today. And by the way, you were going to be a favorite in every single game over the last 3 days, including today, because Sonny Gray's on the bump. You're going to be a favorite in all these games, and you're on the verge of being potentially swept by the Mets.
Is it still a sweep? You lost 2.
Yeah.
You only played 2.
Technically, yes, I guess. Willson Contreras, forearm fracture. If you're the front office, you got to give the fans something. You have to give the fans something. This is the Cardinals. This isn't the Marlins. It's not the Rockies. It's the St. Louis Cardinals. And at some point, you can't just keep doing the same thing you have been doing, which is like, oh, they'll keep showing up. We just got to toss them just a little bit of, we'll have some nice giveaways. Got an Adam Wainwright giveaway coming up. Here we go. They're going to be fine with it.
This is
one blood.
This is this version of the Cardinals. This ain't my father's Cardinals.
Exactly.
So when I say that, I mean that. I mean that this version of the St. Louis Cardinals, you're not going to get blood. You're not going to get anything that resembles someone potentially losing their job. Not in season, not right now. Because the philosophy, the mindset, again, I'm not joking when I say this. This team, for as poorly as they have played, and I think they have lost, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of their last 7 games. They haven't played well. And yet, they're still what, Anthony? 6.5. 6.5 out of first place in the division. You aren't even in double digits, and you have lost 6 of your last 7 games.
Give it a week.
Give it a week. I mean, they do go to Milwaukee next, so potentially they could be, and they got a 4-game series there. They could be 11 back at that point. If my math is right, 10.5.
And 0-7 against them overall.
Potentially. But at that point, I still don't think that there is anything done. What do you do? What does firing someone do?
Well, I'll tell you what.
When it comes to winning, maybe nothing.
Maybe nothing. Correct. But here's what's happening, Carey, and try to hear me out. The Cardinals have lost. They're losing the faith of their fan base. They're losing.
They've lost it.
Okay. So they've lost it. Okay, call it what you want. It's not good right now.
No.
Their approval rating, if we're doing that whole thing, is like minus 50, right? It's not great right now. This is why something substantial needs to happen. And there are some moves that you can make that, in my opinion, wouldn't affect one thing. Like, it wouldn't affect, like, getting rid of this person won't be like earth-shattering, like the organization's falling apart, all this stuff. But from a approval rating, all of a sudden, it might seem different for people. And I think that that's where the Cardinals are at right now. I think that the Cardinals are at the point where there's only one move, quite honestly, that they can make. And I hate to do this, and I'm not saying that this is what you do from, like, but if the Cardinals were to hold a press conference, let's say tomorrow or later today, because they got the rain out, they got time anyways, got time on their hands. If the Cardinals were to hold a press conference and just say, hey, effective immediately, John Mozeliak is no longer president of baseball operations. Didn't say they fired him. They said he's no longer president of baseball operations. So then Cardinals and the DeWitts, if they have the faith in John Mozeliak to help the organization, still say, John, you're going to help us in the business standpoint. You're going to help drive revenues because you're a smart guy. We like you. We're not giving you a dishonorable discharge. We need a fresh voice at the top of the food chain. I think Cardinal Nation all of a sudden goes, okay, what's next now? Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you guys disagree with me. And if that's the case,
I don't.
Fine. But Carey's looking at me like I got 3 heads.
Well, Carey, they had 6 months to have a press conference after the season.
It doesn't matter. Here's where we are. But here's where we are right now. So, like, my suggestion is at least trying to recapture the fan base a little bit. Like, ultimately, what's a suggestion did you think makes sense?
I think there is nothing that happens. We just got a text saying.
I didn't ask you that.
No. I don't think there is a move. Because a texter just said, you notice every day CD says the number of games they're back, and it doesn't change. The number hasn't moved, therefore they won't move. There is nothing to do. They have been 5.5 games back for 4 or 5 days.
Okay, fine. But what do you think would make a difference?
I personally think that batters hitting the ball would make a difference in this team.
And when that doesn't happen 3 or 4 games from now?
You got what you got. I don't think they're going. Hopefully, maybe Jordan Walker right now. He's hitting the ball pretty well. I think he's at 286 batting average right now. He's doing well. Maybe you look and bring him back. Dylan Carlson hasn't hit a ball yet. Paul Goldschmidt hasn't hit a ball in 4 or 5 games. Like, somebody has to play better. Somebody has to perform better. There is nothing that they can go out and sign, trade for, bring in that is going to make this team. I don't even think. But I'm talking with the Blues when they got rid of Craig Berube, we knew like this is as bad as it's going to get. Mm-hmm. We are at our wits' end. I don't think the Cardinals are at that place yet. I don't think they will be at that place until the trade deadline. So with the Blues, you lost to the Blackhawks, and I think that was okay. That's it. We're done. We got to go in a different direction, and it's not your fault, Coach. This team is not performing well, and you are the sacrificial lamb because of that. I don't think the Cardinals are I don't even think they're close to that space of firing Mo or firing Jeff Albert or Turner Ward.
I'm talking about recapturing your fan base. I'm not talking about like standings and numbers and things like that.
The only thing that's going to recapture it is winning games.
Okay.
I think both things can be true though. Carey, you're talking about, player. If you're talking about winning or getting back into this thing, okay, you're absolutely right. You're talking about players actually producing and performing. Firing somebody in the front office isn't going to make Paul Goldschmidt a better hit. Sorry, reassigning him. But Jamie, I'm with you. We're talking about. I think there's 2 separate conversations here. Will this impact the standings? No. But you have to set a higher standard than what we have seen of late here, because you did have high standards at one point if you're the Cardinals. That bar has been lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered, and now we're to the point where it's like, well, if they make the playoffs, isn't that what you want? Like, come on.
So you all think that firing or reassigning John Mozeliak today would have more fans in the stands at the next homestand?
No.
Because I don't.
I agree, but you're sending a different message to your fan. It's all about sending a message to your fan base saying this is not acceptable.
And then if they still don't perform well, then you're saying, well, John, I guess it wasn't your damn fault that ought to be to begin with.
So Doug Armstrong gets all this praise, right?
Yes.
And people say, well, you know what? He's up front. He fired Craig Berube. So not only did he make a move to do something, he did something drastic. He fired maybe the most popular Blue, players included, at the time, Craig Berube. And did it ultimately change a whole bunch? No, it didn't. They still didn't make the playoffs. But Doug Armstrong's approval rating is still high right now because he's trying to do things to help the team. I think standing pat is the biggest problem the Cardinals have had for at least 4 or 5 years now. It's always the same pattern. They're the risk averse, like you say, Anthony, whether it's free agents, whether it's trading, whether it's calling guys up or doing this or doing that, or changing the manager or the hitting coach. They're just risk averse. It's like they're non-confrontational. We just don't want to do anything. Well, the fan base, I think, is sick of that. Worst season in I don't know how long last year, and now you're in last place again. I don't care if you're only 5 games back. You're only 5 games back. It's still awful to watch.
It is.
So my point is, what's the difference? So you say, what's the difference? Exactly, what's the difference?
That's my point.
So if you reassign a guy, what's the difference?
And nothing changes. What changed? What changed?
But you don't know. Maybe somebody steps in and changes some of the philosophies.
I have not seen John Mozeliak get in the batter's box one time this year. I haven't.
I don't know if you're understanding.
I do understand what you're saying.
No.
You want a body, Jamie. You want somebody to be the sacrificial lamb for what they have going on.
I want to give the fan base something to look forward to. Right now, nobody has anything to look forward to. I don't even want to go to a game. I don't care. I've been offered free tickets.
And if John Mozeliak is fired tomorrow, are you going to jump up and go to the game?
Possibly.
No way.
Possibly.
Right?
Yeah, that's right, Mo. Sit in your seat.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. What's trending is next.
All right, boys, the NBA playoffs are exciting. I mean, my guy Carey wants to talk about it all day long. We told him he could talk about it tomorrow and Friday. Come on.
Thunder.
Well, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, they're helping out new customers right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet, Carey.
Jamie, that's $150 to use on same-game parlays, live bets, championship futures, and so much more. Jalen Brunson for the Knicks went for 43 points and only made one three-pointer. Who thought that? Over and under threes? Maybe you want to go under with him, but go over in points because he is playing lights out. There's no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook.
That's right. Yeah, that was a tough draw right there for Carey the other night and bet the board. You can bet all of the player props. You can bet all of the NBA futures. Of course, I got point spreads and live in-game betting, but you got to sign up. FanDuel.com/fast, and then you get started with the $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's all courtesy of FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus district is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome to What's Trending with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh. Gentlemen, Greg Amsinger, who frequents this station on the opening drive.
Does a great job listening to our show and then stealing all our information and using it on the opening drive. Great job.
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, Greg Amsinger also is pretty decent at predictions, too. here and there.
Mm-hmm. How did you do last night?
Well, I'm about to play some audio for everybody. And, this is ahead of the Dodgers-Marlins game. Yoshi Yamamoto had 15 scoreless innings heading into this ball game. And, let's just let the audio speak for itself.
Don't take this the wrong way, but we are already a no-hitter alert. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, before he throws a single pitch tonight against the Marlins, we have a no-hitter alert. Okay. Enjoy what could be a no-hitter from Yamamoto.
Jazz, swing your first pitch.
Right here on MLB Network for Harold. See why I'm Greg. We have a no-hitter alert. Enjoy this game live on MLB Network.
Oh, boy, you're crazy.
It's in the major leagues to establish himself as that guy. Dodgers looking for a 6th straight win and a 13th out of their last 15 after they took the first game 6-3 last night. Yamamoto comes home, and off we go. And the aggressive Marlins get a first pitch swing and a high fly ball and a home run for Jazz Chisholm on the first pitch.
All right, so
in fairness,
they had to know that. They had to be on tape delay, right?
No,
was that a joke?
I think that he was trying to do the thing where it's like, see, it's not a broadcaster jinx. I could say this as many times. It's not going to matter. Icarus also flew way too close to the sun, got his ass burned. Okay? And if we don't learn from Icarus, who are we going to learn from?
Good point, Anthony.
He's in Eternals.
Awful movie.
Yeah.
Just terrible. So I think Amsinger was doing a little thing like, it's not going to matter what I say. I can say this 3 times.
Or he was being Mr. Hot Take. So if Yamamoto goes 4 or 5 innings without a hit, he's like, see, I told you.
I mean, he did pitch 8 innings last night.
But he gave up a home run.
He gave up the home run when Amsinger
He's 4-1.
was being a
gave up 2 runs.
Smart guy.
They won 8-2. I think he'll take the 8-2 8-inning victory. No hitter soon to come. Maybe he might be a day off, a game off.
When does he
5 days.
When does he face the Cardinals?
Oh, very good question, Anthony. Let's take a look-see.
So I can tell you that some broadcasters believe in the jinx and some just outright just spit in its face. John Kelly, when I bug him about talking about shutouts or there, he said, that's just stupid. We have no impact on the game. I'm like, what? He's like, no, as if we have an impact on the game. I can say anything. It's
I would
not my
appreciate
fault.
that.
I'm like, okay. And John's very serious that
Thanks,
way.
John.
I appreciate
But
that.
John, don't you think? Absolutely not. Just call the game.
100%.
He's
There's
awesome.
no jinx, man. You don't call he hasn't missed a free throw in 16 attempts. Then he misses. Wow, you jinxed him. He heard me? He didn't hear me.
There's totally a jinx.
No, it is not.
Bills would say otherwise.
No, it
It's
is
not about the player hearing you. It is absolutely about the sports gods getting involved.
No, it's about at some point, if you're not 100% free throw shooter, you're going to miss a shot. That's what it's about.
Right then and there?
Yeah.
When somebody like Greg Amsinger is calling it out?
If you made 15 in a row, yeah, you probably do.
Nah,
It's
Carey.
the do factor.
You've been wrong. You've been wrong several times in this hour. And this is another one.
You got 6 innings of no hit ball. Chances are, third time around, gonna get a hit. It's how it works. It's life.
I've always
No such thing.
I've always believed.
Of life.
There you go.
Always believed in the jinx, the broadcaster's jinx.
No.
I'm watching the Buffalo Bills play the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's no man in that building that the Bills and Sean McDermott trust more than Tyler Bass. And here's the kick, and it's wide right. Come on.
Right.
So, okay.
Because that's
There's
his
only
fault.
one play-by-play man in this room, and that's Andrew Marsh. He would know.
Okay, Marcia, you don't give the audience any details about what's going on.
Hang on.
There's a score bug.
Hang on.
Nobody's.
I have a very, very valid point to make here. Okay? We could probably highlight 6 or 7, maybe even 10 times it's happened where we'll call it the broadcaster jinx. But let's go back to the database of all the other times where the broadcaster said it and nothing happened.
There you go.
We don't have those times.
That doesn't help my argument. So
I know. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Marcy.
Why even do it at all?
This is why we remember.
Why wake up the sports guys when they don't need awakening.
Remember those times, Anthony.
Why doesn't it work in reverse? So I'm sure they said last night, Paul Goldschmidt is over 23 right now. He didn't get a hit. He was over 24.
Carey, you're asking me to
Why doesn't it work in reverse?
You're asking me to explain something
Nobody
that is
said
not
that Paul
explainable.
Goldschmidt is over in the last 5 games.
Why don't you just go ahead and ask me what the meaning of life is? I mean,
if it's a broadcaster, it doesn't work that way. It only works one way.
It's cheese.
It's called logic.
I know, but in this case, I don't know.
I just feel like it's always pertinent to the argument.
Isn't there ways to go around it, though? Like, is to say a guy's got a no-hitter, you're like, hey, he's dealing. He's dealing right now, and we're not going to say anything.
I can't believe you could sit there, you two, and listen to Amsinger do what he did last night, which is quite frankly despicable, and not even bat an eye.
When did he hurt you?
Oh, man.
Just a little tired of, Greg getting all this praise all the time. Stealing people's points.
Actually, you know what? I've rescinded everything I just said. Because sometimes when you do call something out, it happens.
Right.
There you go.
Andrew Marsh on opening day.
There you go.
At Ballpark Village.
I take back everything I just said.
Thank you. The guy that called a damn home run before it happened.
Yeah. You know why? Instincts.
Exactly.
Gut feel.
So there's no such thing as a jinx. Case closed.
Before we go to break, guys, I'm going to read you something from John Denton.
Oh, boy.
Did he text you?
No, he actually did. He says, "Hey, check out my last tweet." No, it's Ollie Marmol basically discussing teams coaxing their catchers to get closer to the plate. Quote, "It's a huge risk moving the catchers closer, and it was talked about in the offseason and a topic in discussion because there were more catchers interference calls. Marmol on the risk of catchers face on the risk that catchers face being closer to the plate. It says, well, because they are evaluated on framing. The closer they're able to get to the hitter to get that low pitch, it's definitely a topic of conversation. The risk is high, and we just experienced it." So basically what they did is they evaluated the risk versus the reward, and they thought the reward of getting a few extra strikes was bigger than the risk of losing their catcher.
That wasn't the actual.
That's what I heard.
No, I don't mean like losing him, but the risk is it's a more rewarding risk to get those strikes than to worry about the odd, the clip of the glove or whatever the catcher's interference.
Gotcha. Okay,
that's it's
cool.
Because normally, if it's catcher interference, you just you hit his hand,
return on investment,
first base, right?
You don't break people's forearms.
Yeah, like I don't think Ollie meant like, oh, we're willing to sacrifice Willson Contreras.
Right. Okay.
Because why would you do that?
Jeez, Anthony, why would you even paint it that way?
Well, Jamie, you were walking down a line there. I wanted to get clarification from you. I got clarification from you. You sounded better on it, quite frankly, and now you're upset. You know what? Hey, Jamie, you can be upset all you want with me. I want you to be the best Jamie I have ever seen. Okay, so I'm going to push you in certain areas.
Wow,
we need that type of coach.
Yeah.
What area is he going to push me in?
I tried to push you off the show the one time. Got rid of you for 4 months. So
you sure did, Anthony. My family wasn't very happy when those paychecks stopped. It's really nice of you.
It's supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. Turned out to be 4 months.
Yeah. He's on the Cardinals plan. He's on the Cardinals injury plan.
What 7-year-old little girl shouldn't know about fasting at a young age?
Thanks, Anthony.
This is your fault.
Unbelievable. You are unbelievable. Was Drew Bannister's hire directly correlated to the upcoming young players in the organization? We'll have that conversation next on 101 ESPN.
Mother's Day is right around the corner, and if you're really looking for something easy yet incredibly special that truly shows your mom just how much she means to you, then I have it for you with a gift certificate from Sound Story. What's Sound Story, you ask? Well, Sound Story is a professionally produced hour-long conversation to where your mom is interviewed by her choice of either Randy Carricker, Tim McKernan, Anthony Stalter, and you discuss life moments for mom, whether it was growing up in a certain neighborhood. Maybe she grew up in a different city, a different state. Maybe she went away to college. You want to talk about that. Maybe her first real job, maybe having a family. All of these things will get recorded digitally, and you can have them forever. And now Sound Story, they've upped their game. They've got a new video option to not only can you hear the stories now, but now you can see your mom telling these amazing stories. So please, if you want the greatest gift ever this Mother's Day, not just for your mother or your children, how about your grandchildren? For years to come, you guys can enjoy all of it. And all you have to do is go to mysoundstory.com, enter promo code ESPN to get this Mother's Day special of 10% off a gift certificate for Sound Story. Again, that's promo code ESPN at mysoundstory.com. Sound Story, for you, for them, forever.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals lost to the Mets last night by a final score of 7-5. Willson Contreras suffered an arm injury after being hit by J.D. Martinez. Contreras' recovery time after surgery for his fractured arm is 6 to 8 weeks. We'll continue discussing that throughout the show. If you missed anything, including our interview with Brad Thompson, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Today's game between the Cardinals and the Mets has been postponed and will be made up on Monday, August 5th at 4 p.m. local time. Was Drew Bannister's hire directly correlated to the upcoming young players in the organization? We'll talk about that next, right here in the Fast Lane. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hey, we have your chance right now to win a pair of tickets to UFC Fight Night at the Enterprise Center this Saturday. Don't miss a thrilling heavyweight showdown in the main event as fan favorite knockout king Derek Lewis takes on heavyweight contender Rodrigo Nascimento. Text in now 314-399-9646 to score free tickets to UFC Fight Night.
Can we do a question?
Absolutely. Fire away.
Because I had forgotten about this, and Derek Lewis had a very famous quote following a fight. Joe Rogan asked him about something about the fight, and he said that something was very hot. What was hot?
What was hot? There it is. Derek Lewis said it.
Mm-hmm.
Something was hot. Text in now, 314-399-9646 to score free tickets to UFC Fight Night. You have to have the correct answer to Jamie's question and be the 101st texter to the Air Comfort Service text line. You get all the ticket details now at 101ESPN.com.
They get it.
There you go. Drew Bannister named the official head coach of the St. Louis Blues yesterday. Here's Doug Armstrong on the opening drive today on how much the young player development impacted the decision to name Drew Bannister the full-time head coach.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't a specific area of our game. Part of it was the development of our younger players. We incorporated Kessel into our lineup on a nightly basis. Jake Neighbors got an opportunity to play important minutes on special teams units. Prunovich was healthy and he got a chance to play. And then inserting Dean and Bolduc and playing them and putting them in situations that were pressure in the third period and doing things like that, and then just our overall team play. Everything got a little bit better, and I think that was going to happen just because of when a coaching change is made or something drastic happens, a big trade, everyone seems to be a little more laser focused, and I thought that's what happened too. But I thought Drew did a good job. I thought our leadership group did a very good job of righting the ship, and now we just have to keep it moving forward.
So, Jamie, I believe Doug Armstrong when he's talking about it. Was it the factor when it comes to hiring Drew Bannister full-time, the young guys coming in? It was a factor probably, but maybe not the number one factor. I think there's always a combination of things, but you do have to have a game plan if you're a president of hockey operations and the general manager, in this case with Doug Armstrong. You have to have a game plan for the next how the next 3 to 5 years are going to look for you. I imagine that was a big factor. Who do I want coaching the young players that are on the roster right now and the ones that are about to make an impact over the next year plus?
Well, look, yes, it should be a huge factor, and that's the risk you run with some of the more experienced coaches is some of them haven't dealt with the development of really young players or several young players in a long time. They've had good teams. They've implemented one or two young guys, maybe, and they've just sink or swim. Don't have to worry about it because the core of my team is a bunch of older guys. I got a couple superstars on the top end here. We're good.
Yeah,
we're fine. But I think that right now where the Blues are from an organizational standpoint is that for them to be competitive, not just making the playoffs, for them to be competitive again and one, winning their division, and then two, being possibly a Stanley Cup contender, these young guys have to continue to develop. You want Zach Bolduc to catch Jordan Kyrou when it comes to points. You want Zach Bolduc to be making a difference out there to where he's relied upon heavily game in and game out. You want Jake Neighbors to hopefully score 25-plus goals again next year. Then you want your Dalibor Dvorsky. He goes from maybe an accent piece like Robert Thomas was in 2019. Well, Robert Thomas ended up being a pretty damn big part of that playoff team and that Stanley Cup run, but he started off with a smaller role, and look at him now. So when you do this and you look at all the young players, you want a coach that's able to hold the veteran guys accountable, to which Drew Bannister has done that. Same time continuing to coach up the veteran players, but simultaneously developing and bringing along the young guys so that 2-3 years from now, the young guys have caught your veteran players, or they're trying to catch them. Your veteran players have gotten incrementally better as well. And now the core of your team, the depth of it is greater, to where now you have a bigger amount of players that are able to contribute and make an impact on each and every game. Yeah. That's called drafting, developing, and doing it the right way in a sustainable way. Not just going out and firing off money all over the place, trying to catch up to every free agent that's out there. So I think that, was there a thought process in that when Drew Bannister was hired on here? Yeah. Again, you go through the list of the players that he has coached and developed. He did 5 or 6 guys, maybe 7 guys that he has a direct impact on within that lineup. And that number will just continue to grow because more guys will start to come up from the minors, from the Springfield team last year. They'll get an opportunity at the NHL level. And then Drew Bannister can continue to bridge the gap between the young guys and the difference maker veteran guys. And then at the same time, continue to develop the Snuggeroods, the Dvorskys, and all that. Get them to where now they're pushing for full-time spots. Again, that's the most sustainable model when it comes to building a contending team.
I completely agree. I know that there was some, I'm looking at some of the messages coming in on the Snake Pit, and somebody had mentioned kind of how, like, well, the main roster, the NHL roster for the Blues, is going to kind of look like an AHL roster. That's not the case. You're going to have a lot of young guys, but like you said, you're going to supplement some of the veteran talent too. You always want to balance, but your lifeblood in any organization, in any sport, needs to be the drafting of players, getting them through your system, developing and teaching them your culture so that they win ultimately at the big league or NHL level. And I agree with what you just said there. That is the model. You could get frustrated that it doesn't work sometimes, but that doesn't mean that that's not the best process. So I think that is what Doug Armstrong's trying to do. Now, will he accomplish adding some veteran pieces in the offseason too? Well, we'll have to wait and see.
He will. Watch. Okay, Army's going to be savvy about this. He's going to find some veteran guys that if they come in and they take roster spots, great. That's fine. But he's also going to have guys to where if the young guys take their position, you can waive those players. You can move on from them. And other teams will pick them up, or they'll go play in your minor league system, but they're going to be quality individuals, because that's what you need now. You need character guys to help build this roster up the right way. And here's all I'll have to say is 2 years ago, or 2 seasons ago, the Blues were selling off everything they could because the team was in a downward spiral. You had a lot of unrestricted free agents. You had to recapture draft capital. You had to find some young players. Within the span of 1 season, the Blues finished narrowly outside the playoff race. So I'm going to show a little faith in what's going on here. And I think that next year the Blues will be in a very similar situation to what they were this year. And hopefully they've learned from some of their mistakes. And hopefully they don't pass up on some of those games where they have what they should win, and they win those games. And then they're in the conversation come playoff time. If that's the case, then Army is doing it the right way. If they take major steps backwards, then we'll discuss it at that point. But I just don't feel like that's going to be the case.
There was something else that Doug Armstrong said earlier today that I wonder if some fans maybe disagree with, especially when it comes to younger players. But when it comes to whether or not a player should have any sort of say in the manager, the head coach, absolutely not. We'll tell you why next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, as you get older, you certainly always want to try and maintain, being healthy, being alert, and you want to feel like that younger version of yourself. It doesn't always happen that way. And, for myself, I had gotten off the rails a little bit, not working out as much, and I wasn't happy with certain things. I was putting on some extra weight. I was a little depressed because none of it was going the right way. BT, our guy, said, hey, come on, get into Mentality. See my guy over there, see Dave over at Mentality. Walked in, and everything changed for me. It was awesome to find out that I was low in testosterone, other vitamins, and now I talked about the peptides all the time. Sleeping so much better. All the little nagging injuries, they are kind of gone. They're hidden away right now. Workouts are great. Feeling a lot better, both physically and mentally at the same time.
Low testosterone can impact us as we get older, like you just illustrated, Jamie. You could feel irritable. You could feel frustrated. You feel angry. You could feel like depressed. You're down. Your mood swings back and forth. And if you're somebody that's competitive, like Jamie and I are, and you want to make sure that you're operating at the best of your abilities, go down and see their fantastic people at Mentality. Tell them that Jamie and Anthony sent you down there. They will test to see what's going on with you, because if you're not low on testosterone, maybe there is an underlying other health issue. Either way, you want to know, right? And for Jamie and I, was low on testosterone, and once we got on the program, I started to feel great. So BT recommended to Jamie, Jamie recommended to me, and now we're recommending to you. If you're frustrated, you're tired, you're spinning your wheels when it comes to maybe supplements or energy drinks, all that stuff, and you want something that's actually going to change, check out Mentality. 2 locations, one in Chesterfield, one in South County, and online at low2usa.com. It's Mentality.
the school. Like owners own, managers, coaches coach, and players play. So I got to be honest, I don't ask the players a lot on situations like this. I'm around enough, I can observe. I know what I'm seeing, but there has to be guidelines and rails on certain things, and this was a management hire 100%. But the players respect Drew. Obviously, they played well for him, but this isn't a committee or an organization.
That was President of Hockey Operations and General Manager Doug Armstrong earlier today on the opening drive right here on 101 ESPN. He was talking about whether or not the players had any sort of say in the hiring of Drew Bannister. Now, I think it's incumbent upon any GM or any president to have the ear of the players and have an understanding of, maybe if there are problems or if they're overlooking somebody that means a lot more to the organization than they even thought. But ultimately, I completely 100% agree with Doug Armstrong in that what he just said. Owners own, players play, coaches coach. You're making the decision. You make the decision on the head coach. It's you're setting the tone for the organization. You're telling the players, the fan base, the owners, what the game plan is. That's your role. That's your job. You are managing the team. So I agree with him. I don't think players in any sport should have ultimate say when it comes to the head coach. NBA.
Yeah, quite honestly, I don't think players should be part of the process, period, dot. I really don't. And the reason I don't think they should be a part of the process is because no matter how much we are all team guys, everything for the team, we all have an individual side of it too. Mm-hmm. And so if I like this coach and I know that he's going to play the heck out of me and I'm like, yeah, you think about it, you find a way quickly to sell yourself on this is the best guy for the team. Or maybe you have a personal agenda. You don't like this coach, or you had him before, or whatever, or he benched you. And now you're like, I just don't know if he's got the ear of the team or the locker room quite yet. You start to guide it. Now, it would be the president's fault for ultimately listening to that and then executing upon what the players say. But just take them out of the equation. Let the results speak for themselves. And quite honestly, the best coaches that I've ever had, they don't keep everyone happy ever. If they're always, that's their job, is to push and poke and make sure you're bringing your best. If you're completely happy with your coach, that's because your coach isn't pushing you enough. Mm-hmm. That's the way I look at it.
I think if you are a superstar player and ownership comes to you and asks your opinion, I don't think you should hire a coach solely based off of what a player says. I think you should go through the entire process, but get enough opinions from other people as well and decide what's the best solution for
other people. I don't know about the players though.
That player is going to be the one interacting with that coach the most, more than, front office people, more than a GM. Well, maybe not more, about the same. I mean, it's important that if you're a superstar player.
So we're just going to cater to those guys?
Yeah.
And then the crybabies get to pick who they want?
No. You don't get to pick because in the NBA, I think we've seen LeBron James has kind of picked who he's wanted, and then he's
been a coach
to have them dismissed. I don't think, but that's not an organization that in my opinion has a backbone. You don't let a player dictate yay or nay, but they do get a vote. It's no different than giving other people that you're working with a vote as well. So they all have
Did they get a real vote, or is it like a fake vote?
No, I think it's a real vote.
I want to find out, but your vote doesn't really count.
We care about you in this organization.
And I want to hear what you have to say, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do exactly what you say because of what you said.
I can get behind that. I can get behind talking to the players. I'm just
and maybe not even just the superstar player. Maybe your team captains. Maybe you have 3 or 4 people.
I think that's essential.
That you have.
I do.
That you have, and you choose how they feel about it, but it's not that their vote weighs more or less than anyone else's.
I just think
it's all of the opinions and decide that way.
I just think it's a slippery slope. It always is. Even when you talk to like superstar players, like I always go back and reference the Detroit Red Wings. Well, Mike Ilitch and Ken Holland never made one decision based upon what Steve Yzerman, Nick Lidstrom, and these guys did they talk to them out of respect? Yes, they did. But those guys knew, that Kenny Holland and Mike Ilitch had a job to do, which is to pick the best coach. Because I can tell you this, Scotty Bowman, the guy who ultimately got the Red Wings over the hump when they started their dynasty. He was not the one. Players didn't want him. They're like, I don't want this guy. This guy's, no, he's a jerk, And he's the one who told Steve Yzerman flat out, he's like, hey, do you want to win scoring titles or Stanley Cups?
Yeah.
Because if you want to win scoring titles, I'm not going to coach this team. You go on and just keep losing. But if you want to win Stanley Cups, you're going to change the way you play because it's about the team, not the individual.
Yeah.
And Steve Yzerman, to his credit, said, I want to win Stanley Cups. And we know what happened after that. Steve Yzerman has become maybe one of the best captains ever all time in the NHL. But it was because they hired a coach that could push a guy like that. So for me, I want the coach that has the respect of the superstar and can push that superstar. And the superstar knows that he can't go crying to the owner and get the coach fired.
Right. But I think having, multiple options, multiple opinions about where you want to go and who you want to hire, I think that's a good thing. But again, at the end of the day, the owner has to do their due diligence on who they hire and why. You can't hire a guy because, he's not going to yell at me or he's not going to. You should want the guy, as you said, that's going to push you, that's going to force you to be the best version of yourself. And if not, you're probably not set up to win championships anyways.
And if we want to get back closer to home here, let's talk about the Blues. And I'll talk about the Blues in the mid-'90s. Mike Keenan was hired because they wanted a hard-nosed guy in here. And it didn't work. Mm-hmm. It didn't work. He tried to push, he tried to poke and prod at Hully, but he didn't know how to do it. He didn't know how to maximize Brett Hull. He didn't know how to maximize other players. So what he did is he just basically came in and burned the place to the ground. Well, then cue Joel Quenneville. Joel Quenneville came in, and he was hard-nosed, too. Very, very early on, there's a time where Brett Hull kind of fired a puck at Joel Quenneville on the ice for practice. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like waist high. It was like right along the ice. And fired a snapped a pass just to kind of hit him in the skates. You know, almost like, this is my team. I'm here. This is my team. Quenneville took that puck and fired it back waist high at him.
Wow.
And you knew then, you're like, okay, we got a coach. And my point is that Joel and Hully ended up working in lockstep and doing lots of great things. We had very successful seasons. But again, it had to be a coach that can keep the superstars in line, but at the same time, have their respect.
Right. I agree.
We do need a gauntlet. Do we still need a gauntlet? Yeah, we need a gauntlet contestant. So
just got one.
Damn it, Marsh.
That's what the thumbs up was.
That's what the thumbs up was.
Well, I was saying,
it was
communication. We do a lot of thumbs up. We do a lot of different things.
A little miscommunication there.
The ear is the indicator first.
The ear? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
What if what's the wipe off? The belt?
Nope.
No,
chest.
Right here, chest.
Yep.
Do we have one?
Mm-hmm.
Ears indicator.
Ear.
Yeah. And then if I go thumbs up and I wipe it out, that means no, we're not good.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trevor is our gauntlet contestant.
Well, somebody will take on Trevor next on 101 ESPN. Now is the time to call Mosby Building Arts if you're looking to upgrade your kitchen, because now through June 30th, you can call Mosby Building Arts and you can commit to doing a kitchen project, and you're going to receive a $2,500 Airbnb gift card. That's right, $2,500 Airbnb gift card if you're redoing your kitchen or you're remodeling your kitchen with Mosby Building Arts. They're fantastic, by the way. If you call Mosby, you know you're working with the right remodeling company. This is a company that will send out a personal designer to help you remodel your kitchen, get it to the way that you want, and then they have the custom designers come in and they do a tremendous job of pulling permits and making sure everything is measured correctly. Everything is up front when it comes to your cost, and they work efficiently and they work with you. Each and every week, you're going to have somebody that's checking in with you. Hey, how's everything going with your project? Is everything, to your liking, your satisfaction? Do you have any questions, so that you don't feel like you're left out of your own project? call Mosby Building Arts. Again, now through June 30th. They've got a great promotion going on. It's for kitchens, and anybody that gives them a call and does a kitchen project with Mosby, you're going to receive a $2,500 Airbnb gift card just for calling. Or just for doing the kitchen. 314-909-1800. 314-909-1800. Callmosby.com if you want to check them out online. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
Four warriors, four categories, one challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit mastor.com.
Time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Trevor to the Gauntlet. What's up, Trevor?
What's up?
How's everything going in your day?
Been going pretty good.
All right, man. All right. Sounds good. Trevor's all about business, and I like that. I appreciate that. All right, Trevor, who would you like? No. Who would you like to take on, Marsh, Carey, Jamie, or me today?
Marsh.
Hey. There you go, Marsh. All right. You're up, dude. All right, so go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel.
All right, Marsh, get the hell out of here.
See you, bye.
Trevor, what are you hoping for? What category? What's that?
Random.
Random. All right. CD's got the launch code. CD can also see what the...
It is not random.
Wheel spun. What is it?
Football.
Football. Footy football. All right.
Football. What movie?
Uh-oh.
What's that?
Wildcats.
Yes! Look at Carey Davis
Wildcats.
go. Football.
It's the sport of kings. Yep.
Football.
Better than diamond rings.
Football.
Football.
Wow. All right. 4 questions, Trevor, all football related. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. If you don't, those questions are worth 2 points. 2 points. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I see who's got their comeuppance today. All right. All right, Trevor. How many consecutive playoff games have the Pittsburgh Steelers lost? How many consecutive playoff games have the Pittsburgh Steelers lost?
Options?
5, 6, or 7?
6.
Final answer?
Yeah.
All right, Trevor, question 2. Who was the MVP of the most recent Super Bowl the Steelers lost?
Option?
Was it Jordy Nelson, Clay Matthews, or Aaron Rodgers?
Matthews.
Final answer?
Yeah.
All right.
Question number 3. The last time the Steelers won their division was in 2020 when they were bounced in the wild card round after being outscored 28-0 in the first quarter against which team? This is awful.
Option?
Is it the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Cleveland Browns, or the Miami Dolphins?
Browns.
Final answer?
Yeah.
All right, Trevor, last question. In their 2 Super Bowl losses, the Steelers were beaten by the Packers and which other team?
Options?
Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers, or the LA Rams?
49ers.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right.
All right.
Let's bring Andrew Marsh back in. How you feeling, Trevor?
Not good at all.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. Marsh making his way back from the cone of silence. He's got his water. He's now protecting his eyes so he doesn't see the category. Very honest of Andrew Marsh.
Hello.
That was the cone of silence, bud.
It was great.
Okay. Your category today, Marsh, is football.
Okay.
Football.
I'm very prepared for these Detroit Lion and or Pittsburgh Steeler questions.
All right, here we go. On that note, how many consecutive playoff games have the Pittsburgh Steelers lost? How many consecutive playoff games have the Pittsburgh Steelers lost?
Have they lost? Okay, so they lost one. I don't believe they made it to the playoffs the year before. Oh. Although they did have a winning record, I think. Definitely wasn't under 500.
Definitely.
Who did they beat somebody that I didn't expect them to beat? I think it might be 3. Let's use the options just in case, though.
5, 6, or 7?
Oh, jeez. You know what, Carey? I think it's 5. We'll go with 5. Final answer.
All right, Marshy. Question 2. Who was the MVP of the most recent Super Bowl the Steelers lost?
All right, so that would have been against the Packers. I think it was Aaron Rodgers. Super Bowl MVP. I'll go Aaron Rodgers. Final answer.
Question number 3. The last time the Steelers won their division was in 2020 when they were bounced in the wild card round after being outscored 28-0 in the first quarter against which team?
That would be Shaky Bakey's Cleveland Browns. Final answer.
And finally, in their 2 Super Bowl losses, the Steelers were beaten by the Packers and which other team?
The Arizona. Oh no, they won that game.
Yeah,
you did.
The Super Bowl.
Oh man,
I'm sorry.
This is going back then.
I know.
Oh. I'm gonna have to use the options.
Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers, or the LA Rams?
I'll go with the Dallas Cowboys. Final answer.
All right.
Alrighty.
Let's go over these. Trevor versus Marsh today. Guys, we're going to go right down the list.
Wonder what?
How many consecutive playoff games have the Pittsburgh Steelers lost? Trevor, with the options, you went with 6. Marsh, after saying 3, then taking the options, you went with 5. Correct answer is
5.
5 consecutive playoff games the Pittsburgh Steelers have lost. Marsh up 1-0. Who was the MVP of the most recent Super Bowl that the Steelers lost? Trevor, you took the options. You went Clay Matthews. Marsh, you did not take the options. You reasoned that the Packers beat the Steelers, so it must have been Aaron Rodgers. Correct answer is
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is correct. Marsh with a 3-0 lead. The last time the Steelers won their division was in 2020 when they were bounced in the wild card round after being outscored 28-0 in the first quarter against which team? Trevor, you went with the Browns. Marsh, You went with Shaky Bakey's Browns. Correct answer is
Cleveland Browns.
Marsh did not need the options. So Marsh now with a 5-1 lead over Trevor. And there are 2 Super Bowl losses. The Steelers were beaten by the Packers. And which other team? Trevor with the options. You said the Niners. Marsh with the options. You went with the Cowboys. Correct answer is...
How about them Cowboys?
Trevor.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
Not today.
Marsh was locked in. Trevor, he beat you 6-1. I'm sorry, man.
No, it's all good.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
Trevor.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
See ya. Trevor was a man of few words. Nice kid. Of course, Marsh had to take him behind the woodshed.
Marshy, that's what you do. I mean,
I had to rebound. I don't think I've done the Gauntlet since I got
destroyed.
6-0.
That's right.
Yeah. I needed to bounce back. That's
And
what
you
happens
did.
when
Brought out the
you
best in
don't
you.
play well. You need
bounce
to bounce back.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
you had some teammates that held you accountable after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's what everybody does, right?
Yeah.
It's really, yeah.
Well, Anthony threatened me with a broken beer bottle.
I certainly did.
Said
Gotta
you need to
hold
be
my
better.
And guess what? You were.
Yeah, I was.
And you know what you did today?
I didn't have a choice.
You were at your best, and you added 1 to your win column.
Thank you.
Nice job, Marsh.
Good job, Marshy.
Did it come at Trevor's expense? Sure.
Yeah. I feel
Does he
better.
care?
Marsh?
I think Trevor cares.
I think Trevor cares,
Does
yeah.
he?
Marsh, no, absolutely
Marsh
not.
doesn't care.
No, not one bit.
Usually I do.
Savage.
Yeah.
Not today.
But not
tonight.
today.
But
Not tonight. It's now the most important time for Arenado, Goldschmidt, and Marmol in their Cardinals career. Probably not. I mean, really, what's going to happen? That's next on 101 ESPN. I frequent the Missouri Athletic Club pretty much every day. Go usually to the West Clubhouse, get my workout done. Usually I'll shower up, then prep right there in one of their business centers. I love going to the Missouri Athletic Club. I love meeting the people down there, seeing familiar faces when it comes to the gym area or the meeting new people when it comes to working in the business center. But downtown location, great for Cardinals games. Go park, go to the Jackbuck Grill before the game, take the shuttle over to the ballpark. Probably see the Cardinals lose, unfortunately. But then take it back, go right back to the Jackbuck Grill, and it's a good time at the Missouri Athletic Club. Downtown spot, West Clubhouse. That's my MAC. It's Missouri Athletic Club. It's now the most important time of Arenado, Goldschmidt, and Marmol's Cardinals career. I was snarky with my comment there in the tease.
Really?
Believe it or not,
So
guys.
I like you.
Sure.
Very unlike me. But in all seriousness, no. What's it going to change? These guys aren't doing
Going
anything.
to change uniforms for Goldie,
Is it?
meaning he may not be back through free agency.
So probably sign him to extension. With the logic being that he can't be this bad.
2 years in a row.
He wasn't bad last year.
You're talking about this year and next year.
Goldie.
No, yeah, exactly.
This year
I
and
knew what
next
you
year.
meant.
I didn't.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I appreciate the effort, though.
I think it's the most important part, most
Why?
important time, because your best player just got injured. It's time for these two players to step up. This is where everyone, their eyes are focused on these two players. For them, this is a defining couple of weeks here for these two players, and it's also a defining moment for Marmol if he can galvanize the troops while one of the best players is on the IL to get this team start winning ball games. Perhaps it could change some things. Now, will it? I don't know.
There you go. I agree. One of the first things that I thought of when Willson Contreras, when the news, he got hurt, and then the news came out that he fractured his forearm, he's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks. One of the things I thought of was, okay, now who's going to step up? Mm-hmm. Who's going to grab the team by the huevos rancheros and actually do something about it? And it's not going to be Goldschmidt. It's not going to be Arenado. It's not going to be Marmol. So I agree in theory with what you're saying, Marsh. But like you said at the end there, it ain't going to matter. It's not going to matter.
If that
was
were
going to happen.
If that were going to happen, I feel like it would already have happened.
I agree. The guy with the grit is out for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
And,
It'll be closer to 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Right, they're saying you're right. You know what? I broke my own rule. You're right, Jamie.
I'm just telling you.
6 to 8 weeks.
2 months.
6 to 8 months.
No.
Whoa! What is my rule?
That escalated quickly.
That's not what you were saying.
That's not what I was saying.
What is my rule on the Cardinals?
That's
They say 6 to 8 weeks. You have to quadruple it at the minimum.
Hey, who comes back first, Tommy Edman or Willson Contreras?
Wilson. Wilson.
Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson will come to the Blues before either guy comes back.
Tom Wilson would add some grit to that Cardinals clubhouse.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
Yes, he would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Defining moment in their careers, I would still say no. I think playoffs are your defining moment. They had an opportunity a couple of years ago. It didn't go well for the Cardinals.
Or them.
Now Now you're searching for that next defining moment. I don't know that regular season people care, but they don't really care. Like you win the MVP, great. You came third in MVP voting, wonderful. What'd you do in the playoffs? How many championships you got? Like that's going to always be the defining question of a person, of their status, of their stature's the career. What did you do in the playoff? In the crunch time when it meant the most, what did you do? So I don't know that this moment is their defining moment. This can lead to their defining moment and what their legacy is here. But I think it's always going to be what you do in the playoffs. How well you perform. Do you show up? Do you show out? Mm-hmm. Are you a superstar?
So then if the Cardinals miss the playoffs again this year.
What'd you say, Anthony, yesterday? Trade everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't talking about that.
Okay, sorry.
My question was more, one, I don't disagree. Two, my question was more, so what does that do then to the legacy of Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, that not only did they really not accomplish anything at all in the playoffs, but the missing 2 times in a row, and then Goldie on the last year of his contract? Like, how does this affect their, I hate using the word legacy, but it's the only one that kind of fits.
Yeah. I think the playoffs, the absence of it and absence of a championship affects and impacts your legacy more than anything. I think that, again, people will always talk about what great players, well, he's great, but then they'll say, well, he didn't win a championship. Like, that's generally always going to be the next statement that they say for whether it's basketball, football. Dan Marino, oh man, one of the greatest quarterbacks. You know he didn't win the championship, right?
It is the next thing that comes out of people's mouths.
Every single time. Allen Iverson, man, he was such a small point guard and did everything. He didn't, he didn't win the championship, right? He didn't. Well, no, that was no.
What?
We got past that. We got well past that.
That's what I remember.
But then you remember that he didn't win a championship.
Oh yeah,
like you will always look at players and say they were great regular season players or they were great in their career, but did they win a championship? And I think I don't know if that's going to be the cloud that hangs over those two if they are unable to win here, because I assume they came to baseball heaven to win a championship. You don't come to the St. Louis Cardinals to finish last. You don't come to the St. Louis Cardinals to be, 71-win team. You come to the St. Louis Cardinals because they are the team that has the second most championships in Major League Baseball. You are here to win a championship. Mm-hmm. No other reason. And so if you don't put your team in that position to win a championship, that leaves a little bit of a stain in some people's eyes on your career, on your legacy.
You just brought up Dan Marino. In fairness to him, the guy was held hostage at one point before a Super Bowl.
That was actually a movie.
He was retired then. Andy.
That was actually a movie.
No, he was playing.
It was a
Showed
movie.
up at halftime.
It was
he
a movie.
wearing his isotoners?
Well,
at one point,
Ace Ventura was actually you called him a weird guy, Ace.
Yeah.
Told him that was a movie. They were. You remember Ace was looking out the window?
That's a documentary.
Nah.
On Dan Marino's life.
It was a true crime.
Finkel and Einhorn weren't real players.
Well, they were combined.
What?
I don't know.
Finkel or Einhorn wasn't a real player.
Something horn.
You saw that doc, right?
I saw both of them. There's two of them.
Yeah.
No.
Well, one was on.
Yeah.
Dan Marino, his life.
Yeah,
got to the Super Bowl.
No.
Held hostage.
Yeah.
By what they thought was a female. You know what? I don't want to spoil it. Watch the documentary.
Yeah, the Ace Ventura.
There are a lot of twists and turns.
There certainly are.
And I remember when Nature called.
Yeah.
And he was coming out of the rear end of a rhinoceros.
It's hot in those rhinos.
I don't think that's the Dan Marino story we're talking about. It's actually it's
all part of it.
It's fiction.
Well, that's why he never won. He was so just.
Yeah. That's my point.
Yeah. How could you play football when you've been captured?
He never quite was the same after that.
The guy played one half in that Super Bowl. He had to show up at halftime because he was tied up. And you got guys like Carey saying, well, don't forget, never won a Super Bowl.
They won that game, though.
No, they didn't.
I think they did.
He went to one Super Bowl. That was it. Lost it.
I think they won that game when he showed up at halftime.
Carey, it's just a movie.
No, that was the Water Boy when he showed up at halftime.
Yeah, the Bourbon Bowl.
They won the Bourbon Bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Bourbon Bowl.
Mike Matheny's going to class up this show. He's going to join us next.
He's not listening.
We'll talk to him about if he's listening, he's no longer joining this fine program.
Blocked.
Yep. But Mike Matheny will join us. We'll talk to him about Willson Contreras' injury, thoughts on the catcher moving up, and also, he managed this team. He managed them through ups and downs. What do you do now with the losing one of your best players? It's next. So Mike Matheny's next on 101 ESPN. With all this rain, you may be experiencing some roof damage. If you are, then give my friends at the Happy Roof Company a call, because within 24 hours, they'll have somebody come out to your home, take a look at your issue, and fix the problem. Because with the Happy Roof Company, they don't chase storms. 100% of their market is in St. Louis and the surrounding area. So they're not like these companies that come in following a big storm and say, knock on your door and say, yeah, we're just down the street there, and we're going to replace your neighbor's roof, which is probably a lie, and we could do yours as well. And then before you know it, you don't know if the warranty is holding up because you can't find them. The Happy Roof Company, they've been in St. Louis, and right now their headquarters are out in Sunset Hills, for decades. 10-year labor warranty on all shingle roofs, cost-effective solutions on flat roofing and metal roofs, free estimates with competitive pricing. Give them a call, 314-665-3001. Whether you need a new roof or you've got some sort of damage going on, they're fantastic when it comes to repairs or replacing your roof. Give them a call. Again, 314-665-3001. Tell them Stalter sent you. TheHappyRoof.com. It's the Happy Roof Company.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night, the Cardinals lost 7-5 to the New York Mets. Today, the game has been postponed. Also last night, Willson Contreras suffered an arm injury after being hit by J.D. Martinez. His recovery time is looking about to be 6 to 8 weeks. We'll talk more about that throughout the remainder of the show. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We will be joined by Mike Matheny coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
With Super Bowl champion Carey Davis and former Blues defenseman Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the 101 ESPN Sports Celebrity Line, where we have former Cardinals manager and, of course, fan favorite Mike Matheny, who's joining us right now. Mike, it's always a pleasure for us to hear you on these airwaves. We appreciate it. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to hear from you guys.
Good, Mike. Before we get into this baseball stuff, how's the family doing? How's my girl Katie doing in her new family?
She's doing great. She's down in northwest Arkansas, just outside of Fayetteville, and so we have kind of replanted ourselves. She's had her second baby, and is an incredible mother, so able to spend a lot of time with them.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, please tell her I said hi when you're talking to her.
I will.
All right, now to get into some of the catching stuff, and I just think obviously the hot topic is, last night Willson Contreras getting hit by the batter and breaking his forearm. I guess the real question that I have, or the first question I have, is, how much of an advantage does that create for the catcher as far as framing is concerned by moving up closer to the plate?
Yeah, especially on the low pitch, as you just think about the science of it, that ball, as it's losing height all the time. You're trying to work the bottom of the zone, and everything that's being taught now is really to work from almost the ground and work up. And you're really a little bit more aggressive in your movements now than you were prior to all of this, the catching analytics. And I think they're great. They're obviously supported by science that they're helping catchers to steal pitches. But in the meanwhile, you are being a little more subjected to a catcher's interference, but also on that follow-through.
Mike, we were watching the play-by-play yesterday, and obviously the hit happened, but J.D. Martinez looked to be so far deep in the box. As a catcher, do you know certain players where they are aligned, and does that make you adapt or adjust where you are aligned to face that batter?
Yeah, I think you guys would be surprised at how we teach. Basically, when I would get down into my sign calling stance, and that would be kind of my starting point, I should be able to reach up with my glove and say it's a right-handed batter. I should be able to touch his back elbow when he's in position. So once again, the further you scoot back, we talked about that ball coming out of the release point, and as it's losing vertical height, you need to be up closer to be able to steal the lower pitches. So we're constantly pushing guys up, and it's really hard, especially as we've seen some of the converted players, as they had no idea you were supposed to get that close to the hitter. And your major concern is that you're going to get your glove taken off on a forward swing, let alone on the one that comes back. But the league is always we always tried to earmark the guys who had those big back swings that were going to come around and get you. And there were some players, I remember a hitter named Gerald Perry turned around and said, "Hey, don't forget, I got the big swing. I'm going to get you if you don't give me a little space." And it's part of the game. It's not dirty play. It's just it's unfortunate.
Mike Matheny joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Mike, I'm curious, since you work with catchers, you're a teacher and a coach. Willson Contreras said last night, even following the incident, that he's going to go right back up there. He likes the way that he can frame that lower pitch like you were talking about. Would you coach that way right now? Would you try to steal that lower strike zone, or is it part of just the bigger coaching point of trying to get these catchers ready?
The numbers are driving that, and that was one of those. It was almost subjective, probably until about 6 or 7 years ago. And some umpires would say this guy's stealing more pitches in the bottom of the zone, but now we've got the data. So the data is going to prove, and the data is going to drive the need for catching. And there are guys that are getting contracts just by how they are stealing pitches. And the majority of those pitches are going to be on the bottom of the zone. There's less damage done in the bottom of the zone. Yes, on the outsides, there's some guys that are getting better at taking marginal pitches away and being able to get them to have a better appearance. But the thing is this is always evolving. So these umpires are also getting dinged for every time that there's a marginal strike that's called a strike and it should have been a ball. They're going to adjust too. So the long and short of it is that's kind of been the positioning for as long as most of us can remember in teaching the position. There's a lot of advantage. You are going to have those occasional times where you're going to get a backswing. There's occasional times you're going to get the forward swing on a catcher's interference, but for the majority of the time, you're talking about thousands and thousands of repetitions to where you're helping your team win by being up a little bit closer in that box.
Mike, I always like the stuff that, the fans can't see or they're not privy to. How often does it happen where an umpire will come out after, the middle of the inning, comes back and you're getting set up behind the plate for the next inning, and he gives you a little tap and says, hey, I'm not going to be calling those ones all night. You're framing it just a little too much. You're making me look bad here.
Yeah, and I think the conversations have changed, mostly because the data is what the data is, and they're both sides are kind of fighting it. I remember right when we started getting the information, and nobody was really buying into it. We were having umpires saying, "Hey, this guy's moving his glove too much," and I'm telling him, "Listen, he's keeping a job by being able to do that, and he has to do that. You're going to have to make the adjustment," and they would know at that point. Back in the day, the old school guys we would have, if we start moving the glove so much, they're getting ready. They'll tell you, and they would. They had no accountability at that point. They'd say, "You do that again, I'm not going to give you a strike the rest of the night. I don't care if he throws it down the middle." And they would do that. But now the information is there, and so everybody, it's almost like an even playing field. We know that the umpires are being judged. The umpires know that the catchers are trying to fool them, and they go in with a scouting report too, and they know that this particular catcher is doing a really good job on that pitch. So if I'm getting a whole lot of heat from the dugout, it's probably a ball that this guy's making look like a strike. And I mean, these guys are human, and they're constantly adapting, so they're going to take that information and they're going to call the game accordingly.
Mike, I'm curious. You talk about the information, and it's analytics, and I think analytics drive some fans crazy because they think that analytics are quote unquote ruining the game. But you worked with Dave Duncan. Dave Duncan had analytics in those notebooks. It's just information. I'm curious though. Do you think that the analytic craze has gone too far in baseball, or it's always been there and it's just more prominent now for fans?
Yeah, it's different now for sure, and it's morphing and it's improving. And to me, I think you're crazy not to take the information. And then you got to try to figure out how do you get a competitive advantage from it. How can you figure out to get an edge from the things that we're able to take from data that we didn't have before? When before, a lot of it was just guessing, and it was the educated eye. And I think it's taken a lot of old-time baseball people. It's almost taken some of their relevance away, unfortunately, because there's more data that supports what your subjective opinion will tell. And I believe that there's a mix of the two. There's some things that the eyes can see, especially when it comes to makeup of player and some of their drive and some of their coachability and some of the things that they're able to adapt and do. But the data is what the data is. And for me, and I get it that some fans believe that there's too many decisions being made, but when the decisions help you win a game, they're the right decisions. And are they always going to be right? The answer is no. It's all about probability. We're not necessarily playing chess, where there's a calculated move and there's a right move, wrong move, and this is poker, and we're playing odds, and so you're constantly trying to figure out how can I do something here to increase our odds of a good outcome, and to not use that information. I believe you'd be a fool. And to be honest, and this is what I tell some of the players, especially the old school guys that get frustrated with all the data. And I said, listen, if you're not going to pay attention to the new information and try and be cutting edge with this, you're going to become a fossil in this game, and you're going to become obsolete. And so try to figure out how to use your expertise and the things that you've learned along the trail, but listen and pay attention and find out where this thing's going next, because information's king.
Mike, the Cardinals have a few players who are struggling that have a pretty good track record of not struggling as much as they have. When you were a player, if you were going through a stretch where you weren't seeing the ball well or hitting the ball well, what did you do, or how could you get out of that rut?
Well, I had 13 major league seasons of that, and so I'm the last guy on the planet you ought to talk to about it. There was a time or two when I felt like I kind of could see the ball. But for the most part, it was an absolute grind. Every time I show up and I go watch some kids play and I hear people barking at them, I go, it's a flashback. It's PTSD. It's like every time I would grab a bat, it was amazing how hard it was. And, obviously I had success at the amateur level and through high school and college. Their stuff is so good right now. And it amazes me whenever I go watch them that they can put a bat on the ball anytime. But we got some really good players on this club and guys who've done it for a long time, and it's going to come back around. I know it's just frustrating. I started a season 0 for 32, and man, I never thought I was going to get a hit the rest of my life. And so it's amazing how that starts to work on your confidence and how much confidence plays in to your ability to trust yourself at the plate. So it's just going to take a couple of good games, and these guys, everybody that you're talking about, has the ability to put together a 4-hit night at any point, and then all of a sudden they take off.
Yeah, so Mike, if we go back to, like you said, that 0 for 32 start for you, that one season, I mean, not how hard was it, but who did you turn to in those situations? Because if we bring it back to where we're talking about with Arenado and Goldie in particular here, like those guys are the superstars of the team. Like, who do they lean on? And then how hard is it for the coaching staff to even get involved with a player of that ilk?
Yeah, I once again, I took information from the cable repairman or anybody that showed up. And you wouldn't believe how many guys have gone back and talked to their little league coaches and high school coaches, and it gets to the point where you're just looking for a life preserver. I know Turner Ward. I know the hitting guys there, and really at this point, what you do, less is more. And that was always something that the times where I was able to start to put together a pretty good run, it was usually when I wasn't trying to do too much. And I was just kind of taking what they were going to give me. I was using the whole field for me. And I'll never remember Mark McGwire, of all people. I was struggling so bad. And he said, every once in a while, I'd just take a day off of batting practice and I'd go in and bunt. Now, that man never bunted a day in his life, but he did it in the batting cage, and all he was trying to do was simplify it. I'm tracking the ball to hit the meat of the barrel, and it was so good, and it was something that I know that these guys are all trying everything that they've ever done. They've taken everything out of their repertoire of what they've done in the past to get out of their slumps because they want them over after day one. But it's going to come. These are, world-class hitters, world-class athletes. They've got great staff and coaching behind them. It's only a matter of time before they start to take off, and then everybody's going to forget about this.
Well, Mike, I remember you taking a few yards last year there at the Home Run Derby, put a pretty good clinic on there. But again, before we let you go, just want to, again, reiterate to please say hi to Katie and the rest of the family. And we really appreciate you taking the time to come on here. It was really awesome stuff. It's so great to get somebody like you to kind of bring us behind the curtain a little bit. So thank you very much, Mike.
Always a pleasure, Jamie. I'll make sure I say hello, and always good keeping in touch with you guys and the Cardinal fan base. So best wishes, and keep in touch.
Mike, we appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
That's Mike Matheny, former Cardinals manager and former fan favorite here. Not former, but a fan favorite here when he was a player, certainly. The last two times that we've had Mike on, his information has been tremendous, but even his humor comes out. And I don't think that we had an opportunity to always see that with Mike when he was a manager, because, of course, it's such a demanding position. He's taking over for Tony La Russa, and the pressure's on. He's trying to win and all that stuff. And but I love that when he does either come on these airwaves, whether it's us or somebody else, or like we got a chance to see him at the Home Run Derby last year, he's such a stand-up dude.
He's a great dude.
Great information.
Unbelievable family guy.
Person.
Great family. I'm telling you, I can't say enough about Mike and everybody in the Matheny family. And then when he comes on here, it's like, it's so wild to get the information from somebody who can actually verbalize it to you. Because I'm sure it's not easy for him to tell like a bunch of yucks like us what it's like. But I don't know. I leave these conversations with Mike always kind of amazed.
Yeah, and enlightened, no doubt.
We got a text from the 636. Obviously, Mike Matheny mentioned Mark McGwire. It says, so McGwire was improving his instincts, not his data. And I know this comes off as a little snarky, but I wonder if there is something there where players are looking too much at the data rather than just, like he said, finding the barrel of the ball, bunting, just like break it down to the most simplest form.
Sometimes you got to go back to caveman tactics. I've said that even as a hockey player. Is take all the other crap out of it and then just work on one simple thing, do it for an extended period of time, and feel good about yourself. I call it caveman tactics.
It's about confidence, though. I mean, professional sports is so much about how confident you are. The more confident you are, the better you play. When you are struggling with your confidence, the things that you've done your entire life seem like the toughest tasks in the world. It's so hard to do. But when you're flying high and feeling really well, you can do pretty much everything. And that's, I think those players that we were speaking about are suffering from, they're lacking confidence right now. Even though they've done it for 8, 10, 12 years, however long, 30 games or 30 at-bats of not having success, you feel like it feels like an eternity. But in actuality, it's 4 games, it's 5 games, it's 6 games in comparison to the hundreds of games that you've played in your entire career. But in that moment, it feels like it's so much more, and it feels like it's never going to end.
By the way, I know you guys were having a very good discussion with Mike Matheny, but have you looked at the snake pit recently?
There's a big conversation going on about your
my
stash.
mustache. For like the entire time.
And your mustache has shown up in the snake pit to defend itself.
Marshy's stash is now in the snake pit.
Marshy's stash also with a great point. He said, I look better. I look good without him, too.
Probably.
So, I mean, it's good stuff there. All right, speaking of Marsh, Prove Me Wrong is next. If you've got a Prove Me Wrong statement.
And speaking of mustaches,
stash looks
great.
Yeah, fantastic.
You guys,
beautiful.
Something else.
Yep. Stepping in the courtroom next here on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, are you currently using that little blue pill or one of those gummy things? Well, you're probably paying too much for those. That's why you need to head over to the Medicine Shop in St. Charles. They are your destination for cheap ED meds. And they currently, and always for that matter, have a generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Prescription is required, of course. And you have to stop by the pharmacy. The pharmacy's awesome. My pharmacy family over there will take great care of you. Walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They're going to ask you what you're looking to accomplish while you're there. Maybe it's cold and flu, allergies. Maybe you've got a sore ankle or something that's bothering you. The Medicine Shop in St. Charles, they care. They care about everybody who walks through those doors. Their customer service is absolutely fantastic. And if you can't get to the pharmacy for your regular meds, well, have the pharmacy come to you. The Medicine Shop in St. Charles, they offer free discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace of any regular med that you need to take. So it doesn't matter, what day of the week or time of day. You don't have to worry about getting over there. They're going to come to you, and they'll take great care of you. Those are my friends over at the Medicine Shop in St. Charles. And you should check them out online at stcharles.medicineshop.com. Again, that's stcharles.medicineshop.com.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Time to enter the courtroom of the fantastic Andrew Marsh. He's judge, jury, and executioner when it comes to the prove me wrong segment.
Oh, yeah. My
Look at him.
goodness. Is that why he's dressed in black today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's a funeral for somebody.
Oh, hi-oh. Oops. So this is when you, the listener, will text in a statement. And one of us in the law firm of Davis, Rivers, and Stalter have to prove your statement wrong. And again, Judge Andrew Marsh will be the decider. Marsh, what do you got?
All right, from the 636, prove me wrong. Just like the movie, the documentary, Bull Durham, the Cardinals were in dire need of a rainout. They should go out, blow it out, get rid of everything and their systems, come back to the ballpark. Said bar, but they could probably go there too. Come back to the ballpark, new day, and get ready to play.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. What you need at this time right now is guys to buckle down even more. The problem is maybe they took too many days off at the ballpark already to begin with. Yeah. Quite honestly, I know I've watched 4 or 5 of those games where I wondered if they were even playing at all. Mm-hmm. So, no, you get a rain out, you take full advantage of it. You get, hey, Pete Alonso style, get everybody in their uniforms, get on the squat rack, get working. Hey, get guys in the batting cage. We just talked to Mike Matheny. Let's get Goldie out there bunting in the batting cage. Take some tips from the old timers. None of this taking the day off and then doing the slip and slide across the field and doing all that. No, I want my Cardinals team in the cages, in the weight room, on the field, shagging balls all over the place. Get Willie McGee out there working with you. Day off. Are you kidding me? You already had a month off.
In the rain. Wait, what, do you want to go to a concert?
Nah.
You go and enjoy the concert? You up all night? Then you lose a series? I don't think so.
Not on my watch.
Nice job, Jamie.
Yep, I like it. Yeah.
Wow.
Good job.
Sorry.
What?
That was a good one.
Just throwing a hypothetical out.
Yeah, of course. From the 314. Prove me.
It just hit me. It
took him a minute.
I thought you were talking about the Nashville Predators when they were supposed to go to Vegas to watch you too.
Yeah.
Then I was like, wait, a concert? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From the 314.
Looking at you, Libby.
Prove me wrong. Paul Goldschmidt is hiding an injury of some sort.
Yeah, I got it for you. It's called an injured confidence. That's it. Guy's not hurt. At this point in his career, bat's slowing down. He's not where he needs to be when it comes to the pitch recognition. All the work that he's done to try and reinvent himself, I give him a lot of credit for. But at some point, Father Time comes knocking on that door, and it's right around 36, 37 years old. Tremendous career for Paul Goldschmidt. But if you think that what we're seeing to this point is some sort of small sample size, my friend, I've got a piece of land to sell you in the worst place in America. I don't know what a spot is. That's a horrible spot.
I'm not saying anything.
All right.
Those people come get me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good call on
Probably
that. Yeah.
Front property in Iowa is what you.
My point is...
Probably anywhere other than Grand Forks, North Dakota. Somewhere in North Dakota.
My point is, Goldie's done.
Oh.
So he doesn't have an injury?
No, he doesn't have an injury.
Okay, just making sure. You said his injury was confidence.
Well... Trying to be cute, Judge. What I mean is he doesn't have a real injury.
Gotcha.
He just stinks right now.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Boy, I hope that guy's not hurt.
I don't think he's hurt.
You know what I mean?
Swingless.
He's been
Broken.
actually dealing with a
What?
busted spleen or something.
Oh, hey, why you gotta go there?
I'm just because I looked at you. I'm
Just
sorry.
taken out. You don't need that, right?
Oh, you do need it. You can live without it,
Yeah,
Carey.
you can live without it. That's
I
what
live
I mean.
every day of my life at risk, okay?
Well, they took yours?
Yeah. It's in Croatia somewhere.
Oh, goodness. Well, maybe not anymore.
On somebody's wall.
There
I
you
bet.
go.
It's a keeper.
You are a keeper.
Anthony, this one's for you.
All right.
From the 314, prove me wrong. Reacher is not a good fighter, hardly a patriot.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you serious right now? Did you not see when he walked up behind the woman at the ATM, realized that she was being held hostage? Actually, it wasn't even her that was being held hostage at the time. It was her kid in the back seat. Recognized the situation, downloaded the information quickly, realized that he had to do something about it, smashed the window in, grabbed the guy right by his head, couple of knuckle sandwiches for that dude. He's down, kid saved. And the woman goes home happy at night. Tell me you can't fight? Give me a break. Jack Reacher's a hero. And all of us.
Wow.
Couldn't agree more, Anthony. Couldn't agree more. From the 314, an exhibition game. My bad. Prove me wrong. An exhibition game between the St. Louis Battlehawks and the Mizzou Tigers would be fun and sell tickets.
It would not be fun, and it may sell tickets, but it wouldn't be fun for the Tigers. This notion that, the college student athlete is able to compete with a professional athlete, no matter what level it is intriguing to me. Because the thing about being a professional is everybody there is a pro. The thing about being a college athlete is everybody ain't gonna be a pro. You know what I'm saying? So there is a difference. Now, maybe Mizzou has some good players, but you know what they don't have? They ain't got no 28-year-olds. They ain't got no 30-year-olds. The Battlehawks, yeah. Grown men. You know what grown man strength does?
Oh, yeah.
Kicks your ass when you're 18. So you should stay away from it. Now, again, may sell well, not going to be a good time for the Missouri Tigers. Don't believe it.
No, I agree, Carey. And to even push that one further is none of those Mizzou kids yet, and very few of them, will play downs in the NFL, and some of them never even attend an NFL camp.
There you go.
Whereas a large percentage of Battlehawks players have had at least an opportunity to get on the field in the pads at the NFL level. Some have had contracts. Some have been backup quarterbacks in the NFL. To your point, this would be a mismatch, although it might be still fun because it'd be here, and I know the Dome would sell out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nailed it.
Did I get a
Nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
thank you.
Judge.
There we go. Nice.
Waiting on it.
Yeah, nailed
Come
it.
on.
Absolutely nailed it.
Hey, guys, the judge, can we keep you focused, please?
Sorry, I got locked in to Anthony's eyes, which is actually.
Thank you, Judge.
Actually,
I appreciate you.
Now it just got weird.
I just broke the rules. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine, Judge.
Don't ever look at him in his eyes.
Don't you worry about it.
I can understand why.
It's like Medusa. Don't look Anthony in the eyes.
Yeah, I turned
Weird
to stone.
stuff happens.
You wind up pregnant.
No, wow.
What?
3 times.
That's a good point, Anthony.
Oh, man.
It all started with a nice glare.
Yeah.
Her eyes were slightly bloodshot at the time.
Sure.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Didn't start with a whisper.
No.
Started with eye contact.
Yep. Absolutely. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Will Contreras' injury be used as an excuse for what's to come for the Cardinals?
No wonder Kristen
Absolutely.
won't look you in the eyes anymore.
She can now. It's fine. We'll talk about how the Cardinals will probably
sunglasses.
use this as an excuse next on 101 ESPN. When it comes to buying your next new car, you got to head down to Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They have their May Day deals going on right now, and you can take advantage of these available incentives on select new Nissan vehicles, including 0% APR and payment terms all the way up to 84 months. They've got no down payment needed and 3 months of no payments, and you can take up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Nissan models. As always, when it comes to the vehicles at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum, they all come with their exclusive complimentary lifetime warranty, as well as the complimentary 1-year maintenance and 30-day return promise. Again, complimentary lifetime warranty. It's worth the vehicle right there. You know, you're going to be taken care of once you drive off the lot. That 30-day return promise gives you 30 days, too, if you're not completely satisfied with the vehicle, to bring it back and get a full refund. But their dealership at Auto Centers Nissan boasts 700 vehicles all in one location. You don't have to drive around and visit different dealerships. It's all one spot out in Herculaneum. Rest assured that you're going to find your perfect vehicle for the style and budget that you're looking for. AutoCentersNissan.com is where you can start. And when you do head out to Herculaneum, tell them Anthony Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan. the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Matheny Stalter. 5:06 your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. The Cardinals will absolutely use the Willson Contreras injury as an excuse to not win games.
You didn't mention Josh Ennis.
Josh Ennis was here.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say his name. He left.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You didn't say his name. You didn't.
He's not on
introduce
this show. He's got his own show. It's called the Josh Ennis Show.
Does he?
It's on Casey.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he
He's
hangs out with
bumping
us.
Pink
Hey,
Floyd
might as
all
well
the
be
time.
with us.
He's in the snake
He'll
pit.
be in the snake pit at some
every day.
point. Yeah.
Will they use this as an excuse for?
No, I'm telling you they will.
Oh, you're telling me they will.
I'm going to tease the
that,
next segment.
Can that be an excuse if you're already
No.
where you are and he's been playing?
No.
So, I don't know that's not the reason for why if they finish dead last again, that Willson Contreras' injury is not the reason.
No, you're right.
They have proven that they
They'll
can
just blame Willson for it.
Right.
And if you do that,
They've got a history of doing that.
They do. You know what, Jamie? When you're right, you're right.
I think this was the anniversary of that too. Or like
That's
yesterday was
thrown under the bus.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you for becoming a Cardinal and being actually somebody that wanted to be here. It's one of the few that's producing. We'll throw you under the bus 1 year, and then it will fracture your forearm. I mean, the Cardinals didn't do that. JD Martinez
Kinda,
did.
That's what they were trying to
Kinda.
do last year. When they backed the bus over him.
Yep.
Then they didn't break his forearm. last year.
No. So they got it.
finished
They had JD Martinez do it this time around.
That's ridiculous.
That's why they didn't plunk him after.
It was the plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
You guys are too much.
This makes me sick. Just thinking about
I
it.
I feel bad. I know you guys do too. I feel bad for him.
I really do. I told you earlier.
As a competitor.
The Cardinals don't deserve Willson Contreras. He's a great. I meant it too. He's done.
Well, you're
He's
doubling
done.
down on it,
No,
so
I
I'd
meant
say
it.
pretty serious.
I meant it. When I said it earlier, I was not joking. He has done everything you could ask him to do in replacing a legend, a future Hall of Famer in Yadier Molina. He has not made one misstep, and this organization has, they did what they did last year. He's done what he's done this year, and now he's hurt, and it's unfortunate. But I don't think that that's going to be the reason why the Cardinals don't win the division.
Agreed.
And
you're not good enough.
Yeah,
well, you weren't good enough even when he was playing well.
Absolutely.
So what's the difference?
You're losing a guy. Let me pull up the old numbers here. You're losing somebody from an offense that is statistically one of the worst in baseball, and now you lose the one guy that has hitting the ball out of the yard. And it's not like he's been Shohei Ohtani. It's not like in Major League Baseball he's putting on a show, but he's been one of the few consistent hitters for the Cardinals all season long. Six home runs leads the team. His 20 runs scored leads the team. Hell, he's got 2 stolen bases. He's second on the team with stolen bases behind Mason Wynn's 5. WRC plus of 171. Nobody's in the same hemisphere. The next closest is Nolan Arenado at 116. Everybody else is below 100. Among qualified hitters, I should say.
He's top 10 in Major League Baseball in OPS.
He's got a 1.8 WAR.
Like, what are you going to do?
You're going to play Ivan Herrera,
who
I like. This is not what I'm about to say is not. Yeah, I like Ivan Herrera a lot. But you're going to play Ivan Herrera, and you're going to pile up some losses, and then at some point, your front office is going to come out and say, well, suffer some injuries.
Why do you say it like that?
Because that's what Gersh sounds like.
Gersh?
We don't know.
Hey, when we were talking earlier about somebody's got to fall on the sword type deal, I'm waiting for Gersh for them to throw Gersh out there.
You know what?
Found the problem.
Do it.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I can.
No.
Hey, listen, found the issue. It was this guy.
Don't have to worry about this guy anymore.
Yeah, hasn't said anything in 5 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Got him out. Found the issue.
I'm not okay with this. Not at all, actually. It's
the losing or my comments?
Well,
my
your comments are not wrong. Your comments. I'm not okay with the losing, man. I make it stop. Like we have, as Cardinal fans, I would say as St. Louis fans, the suffering has been enough. This is not a city that is accustomed to having back-to-back seasons by your hockey and your baseball team, Jamie, losing and not making the playoffs. You're not accustomed to Cardinals and Blues. You know how excited Cardinal fans were for the Blues season to start last year after they watched that miserable output that they put out every single day.
Preach.
How excited Cardinal fans that didn't even watch Blues became Blues fans. You know what? The hell with that. I'm going to watch me some St. Louis Blues. And then they go out and do what they do, trade everybody at the trade deadline because they had to. And they don't make the playoffs. And then you know what? Those Cardinal fans came right back around and said, it's time. This is it. It's our time. It's not our time.
Wasn't your time. It isn't.
It's not our time.
No.
Nope. It's not our time. Nope. It's not great.
You got the Battlehawks and you got City, though.
Okay. Yep.
Well, you do.
You do?
No, the Battlehawk season is short.
10 games.
And City is playing.
Yep.
They're making some big moves.
Yeah,
Roster moves.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Anthony, you're talking about in the office earlier.
Well, yeah, here's the thing about City. Here's the thing about City.
I'm glad that you're taking what you've been spilling to us in the office and bringing it on now.
Well, sometimes we get pushback on it. There's a lot of people that say, stop talking soccer. I'm tired of your soccer talk. And, we're like, all right, well, let's listen to the fans here. But when it comes to City, the one thing that they won't do is rest on their laurels at all. This is an organization that's going to be aggressive when it comes to adding players. This is an organization that, from a culture standpoint, it's fantastic. Are you listening? You guys listening right now?
Huh? We're locked in.
Unfortunately.
Jamie.
No, I didn't mean it like it sounded.
Forget it. Forget it. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem.
Finish what you started. Anthony,
I refuse now. Let's just go to the sports six pack. I'm trying to talk a little soccer here for once.
Yeah, well, we can
and
make
then
the
your
first
attitude
question.
is trash.
Marsha, we can make the first question.
Marsh,
right now,
don't even bother.
Text in a soccer question for Anthony.
No, really? I don't want to talk about it now. You ruined it.
NBA.
Sports six pack next on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking for the best replacement windows in the business, check out my friends over at Window World. Preferred window of yours, St. Louis Blues. And Window World is ranked number one in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler Magazine. And why is that? Well, because they produce a double-strength glass that you just don't get with other replacement windows. Some of those other replacement windows on a day like today, you'll get cracks or leaks, or if it's really hot out, it's leaking in, and you end up paying a lot more money or buying windows twice. Don't do that. Go get that double-strength glass over at Window World, where they also offer a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor, and they're all about customer service. And one of the great things that they do for their customers is they offer 18 months same-as-cash financing with approved credit. So please give them a call. But when you call them, tell them Jamie Rivers 101 ESPN sent you in there. They want to hear that. Their number is 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or visit WindowWorldSt.Louis.com.
Got a black magic woman.
With special guest.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
With Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646 for the Sports Six Pack.
All right, Anthony.
Yeah.
You asked for a soccer question. We're going to give it to you.
No, I said that I don't want to talk about it because Jamie's attitude stunk.
Question number one from the 314. How do you think Marco Royce would fit in City's plans in the long and short term? And he would be the biggest free agent signing for a St. Louis team since?
Well, I think that, since probably
ever, sounds like to me.
No, probably, I mean, does Matt Holliday's contract extension count? Like they traded for him, but they also signed him. Screw it. I'm gonna go with Matt Holliday.
Okay.
This is somebody that can absolutely help this City program big time. He comes in focused, determined. He's gonna set the tone. The workout's outstanding. You know that drill that you used to do, Carey?
Yeah, the beep drill.
Yeah, the beep drill.
Beep test, yeah.
Shuttle.
You haven't seen somebody work that beep drill like this beeping guy in your life. And the other thing too about him, he elevates everybody around him, Jamie.
Does he?
Yep.
Is he going to score a lot of goals?
Ish.
Okay. He's going to work hard.
He's just going to work hard.
All right.
Well, here's the thing. When you give him the answers to the test, he's going to take them.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think they're looking at some veteran leadership, too.
Absolutely.
He's 34 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in Dortmund, Germany, ended up playing for his team back there as well. In the 23-24 season, 12 matches, 2 goals, 1 assist. So obviously, again, you're getting that leadership guy, that character guy. He's not going to put up huge numbers. However,
he's not going to put up with crap in the locker room.
No,
either.
he's not. He's not. Although he did in 2018-2019 have 17 goals in 27 matches
so
with 8
talent.
assists.
You know the talent is there.
It's there. It's kind of faded over the last couple of years, but that's okay. You get a veteran guy playing in the MLS. You know, he's coming out of the Bundesliga over in Germany.
That's a tough spot.
That's a competitive league. So I think either way, you're getting a solid guy here.
Yeah. I don't think he's a Holiday. I think he's more of like a Brandon Saad type.
Okay.
Solid production.
Question number 2, please.
Question number 2.
Sorry, Anthony, I thought you had more to give there.
He gave everything he had.
He left it all out there, man.
I certainly did.
Certainly
Gary,
did.
you're right, buddy.
All right, from the 314, do you guys think Contreras' time behind the plate may be close to an end after the injury he sustained? Could he be moved to first base possibly by the end of the season and to start next year?
Do they have a first baseman named Paul Goldschmidt still?
Yes. I mean, for now.
To start next year, do they?
You shouldn't.
They will.
Okay.
They're going to sign him to an
guy's a catcher. Let him catch. It's my catcher. I'm not turning my back on him.
What? Did you miss the part where after they ran him over with the bus, they said we're going to put him in the outfield?
Yeah, I don't care. No, I'm saying that's my catcher. I'm not moving him to first base. It's my guy. He wants to be behind the dish. He goes there.
They wanted to move him last year.
Yeah, I'm not letting them do that either.
Didn't know what pitches to call, allegedly.
Why are you dogging on him? He's supposed to be your guy.
I'm dogging on everybody else that dogged on him.
You're bringing up all this negative.
No,
have you seen
this? Is me.
This guy is stealing strikes this year.
Willson Contreras.
He's risking a broken arm to steal strikes for pitchers who can't throw strikes.
Putting his health on the line.
Well, in fairness to
right.
Michael, he'll throw strikes.
They just
get hammered.
Yeah, that's not good. That's a bad inning.
So do I when he throws those pitches.
Yeah.
They had a bad inning, fellas.
Which time?
Which time?
Yeah, the 5th.
Which
Last
start?
night.
Can't plead the 5th, Gary.
You got to face your fears and your realities.
Guys.
You know, little beehole in the snake pit brings up a really good point. Why does Carey hate poor Willson Contreras?
I don't. Yeah, it's weird. Willson Contreras.
It doesn't sound.
I said
like
earlier. I am.
My window.
I am a Willson Contreras fan.
Doesn't sound like it.
No, I am. I just know what they did to that man last year, and I'm still bothered by it. Then he breaks his arm this year.
And you want to embarrass him and put him in a different position.
No, Anthony actually wants to put him at a different position.
No, I don't.
Or the texter wants to put him at a different position.
Yeah, everybody else, hey, Carey?
Yep. You haven't learned that yet? Nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah.
You sound like my beautiful kids who always blame the 2-year-old.
Yes.
It's Lincoln's fault.
For now.
It's always Lincoln's fault.
Until Lincoln serves justice one day.
He will.
He will do that.
He's already not putting up with it.
Question number 3.
From the 217, are you guys setting up for a baseball version of the Clear It Camp?
What do you call that? The bunting camp?
Yeah, I think maybe like bunts and base stealing.
Yeah, but bunts are important in baseball.
So is clearing it. Ask your Carolina Hurricanes
I
last
think
night.
the Buck isn't very smart.
Maybe
Carolina cleared it at any point last night. They probably would have won.
Yeah, they only had 59 shots on goal. You're right.
Right.
Tough
Thank
night
you.
for them.
Did they win?
They will.
Are they down 0-2?
Not for long.
They can't win at Madison Square Garden. They're going to have to win at some point at MSG, and they can't.
You should put your Speedo where
Put your
mouth
Speedo
is.
on the line, buddy.
Well, we need a punishment for him. One
I
that he'll
told you I'd
actually
wear a
follow.
Speedo. With
That's
your Speedo.
not a punishment
Not
for
punishment. You
Carey,
do that.
You wear Speedos.
You do that all the time.
No.
Whose
You
side
don't
are you
mind.
on?
I'm on the side of fairness.
I always wear
Thank
Speedos. So if I win, they wear Speedos. If they win, I'll wear board shorts.
What?
Okay, Jamie. You know, you doing that.
You said it.
You doing that, the way you're doing it, shows that you don't even believe that Carolina
Enough. Question
is
please.
is worthy enough to win this
Question
series.
5, 6, 4.
Question number 4.
There it is.
From the 314, guys, let me know if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen Doug Armstrong in the situation he's in now. I've seen him have good teams and make moves to make them great, but I've never seen him turn around an organization like he has to do now. And if he's never done it before based off the decisions he's made the past couple of years, possible this Mother's Day. This has to be talk to text.
This is going on a while.
How much faith should we have as a fan base that he can do something that he's never really had to do?
Well, first of all, he has had to do this before. Let's go back to when Doug Armstrong was handed the keys to the camper. Didn't have a whole lot going on. In fact, the Blues had tanked so poorly, they ended up with the number 1 pick overall in Eric Johnson. So what did Doug do? He went out and he hired Ken Hitchcock from the Dallas Stars days, brought him in. Then they started to bring in guys like David Backes, TJ Oshie, Alex Pietrangelo, even Patrick Berglund. He played very well. Jaden Schwartz. These are guys that Joel Edmondson. Doug built a team. In fact, Doug built a Stanley Cup champion team. And it started in 06-07 where we were terrible. I know, I was there. It wasn't good. So then when Doug finally took over, he had to build a team under the salary cap restrictions as well. So let's give him an opportunity here to do what he can do over the next couple of years. Like last year was the first not last year, 2 seasons ago was the first wholesale season they've had since 2006, 2007. And now he started to build that team up again, added some good young talent, got a ton of draft picks, picked up 3 great defensemen. Now he signed 4 other guys from Sweden. Like, you're starting to see this wave of action from Army. Will they all pan out? No, probably not. But all you have to do is make sure that your percentages are greater, that they pan out rather than just being, not players. So, yes, he has been through this before, which is why I think Army should be trusted, at least here for the next couple of seasons.
And he also said that he would like to have this organization in a better spot than when he came in. So I believe him. Like, he's that type of GM. He's that dude in the NHL that I don't think he'll allow this to continue for 5 years. So
Question number 5.
From the 661, if forced to watch a low-scoring game in person at the venue, would you rather it be soccer, hockey, football, or baseball?
So basically, any soccer game ever. And what were the other ones? Baseball and what?
Hockey, football, baseball.
What was the question?
Basically, what if you were to watch a defensive struggle? What sport would you want to watch it in?
Oh, soccer for sure. More goals.
No. If it's a low-scoring,
it's a low-scoring.
Well, you said defensive struggles.
You did say that.
Well,
yeah, that would be.
If you struggle defensively,
offensive struggle,
then you would give
but
up
it's called
goals.
a defensive struggle if it's a low-scoring game.
I think it's called an offensive struggle.
That's an offensive struggle.
So you don't score.
What the hell are you even talking about? What is he
You know what, Anthony? I think I've heard that before.
That's fine. It is called a defensive struggle.
No. No.
It is.
No. So if a team has no points, that's a defensive struggle.
Yes.
I don't even know what world I'm in right now.
That's fine. It is. I'm not even joking.
I think it's an offensive. No.
You wouldn't call it an offensive. The term is defensive struggle.
No.
I think they're wrong then.
You're 100% wrong.
Okay.
You're staltering the hell out of us.
You're not wrong. They're wrong.
I promise you I'm not.
They're wrong.
Either way, if you're going to see a
I'm
low
dumber
scoring,
just for listening to that comment.
if you're going to see a low-scoring game,
yeah,
what sport would it be?
It wouldn't be baseball because that's that. Well, unless it's like a no-hitter.
It'd be hockey for me. Because teams could be. We look at some of the playoff games we've seen. 2-1, 3-2, and there's battles, there's bodies all over the place, and things are happening. Great goaltending. I think you could watch a low-scoring hockey game and still be thoroughly entertained.
Defensive battle.
Yeah.
Not defensive struggle. Pretty sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Hey, you know what? Let's do it. Instead of the Carolina-New York game, why don't we do this?
The defensive
Who's right?
Battle. Yeah.
A defensive
battle.
A defensive
not a defensive struggle.
A defensive struggle. The meaning is
so.
the defenses. The defenses.
Are struggling?
No.
I'm reading the definition right now.
Okay, what is it?
It says these words are often used blah, 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 to protect. Hang on, I just had it. Let me go back.
It wouldn't be football.
No, the game was a defensive struggle as most possessions resulted in 3 outs or no first downs.
I know that
it's wrong.
I know it sounds weird.
It makes no sense.
But a defensive struggle is when two teams are struggling to score offensively. I know it's
that's backwards.
I realize it doesn't make sense.
I can't,
but it's right. The defensive struggle. A shootout would be obviously where the two offenses
that's
are.
A defensive struggle.
Defensive struggle. Hey guys, it's
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, you're not wrong
that
for
is
what
the
you
meaning.
say.
That is the
whoever said it is wrong. Yeah.
Not you.
Question number 6.
You just said you were dumb.
He said
we're all dumber.
Whoever created. Oh yeah, you
then,
did say that.
for listening to me.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't your words. You were just talking about what they say. So it's different.
The meaning is still. I'm using the meaning correctly.
So the Cardinals are having a defensive struggle night in and night out.
Mm-hmm.
No. If it's a low-scoring game, that would be a defensive struggle.
That's so wrong.
You played in a lot of defensive struggles with the Steelers and Ravens.
I played in a 3-0 game against Miami where it was an offensive struggle. Trust
the
and
offenses
believe.
were struggling in the defensive struggle.
The defenses didn't struggle at all. They were playing their butts off. Offense on both sides were struggling to get the ball past midfield. Like, it was bad. It was a punt that got stuck in the ground. The field was soggy. Like, you Google it. Ball just stopped. Didn't move.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. It was an offensive struggle.
Last one here. This one's from Tanisha.
I need a drink.
You would get one anyways.
This is true. So?
This one's from Tanisha, always doing great work in the snake pit. What are you starting to dislike more as you get older?
Stupid people.
I think that was already there for you, Jamie.
But it's really bad
It's
now.
getting worse?
Yeah, it's getting worse. And bad drivers.
Oh, man.
That they could fall under the same umbrella.
They are probably the same people.
It's a really good question. I don't know.
So
The older I get.
gray hair.
What? What's wrong with
Yeah,
my
as
hair?
you get older.
He's 28, Jamie. He's we got
Or
beards
how about
full
this?
of
How about
gray
this? How
hair.
about balding? You start you get a little
Thanks.
balding on
Yep,
the side.
Appreciate it.
Well, yeah, but
Jeez, okay. Maybe having to, I don't know, take care of 3 little kids.
Oh, damn, why did he look at you?
Shots at
I have 3 little kids.
He's taking shots at all of us, huh?
Seriously.
Gray hair, bald, 3 kids.
Jesus.
Unreal.
All right, now that we all feel terrible about ourselves.
I just want to go and cry now.
Biggest question of the
Now
day.
I need a
next.
drink.
Wow. Here on 101 ESPN.
Again.
Well, you can't buy much for $20 these days, but at R&R Tire Express, $20 does get you a set of 4 new tires. That's right. Put $20 down at R&R, and you're going to drive away with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 new tires. And that installation fee, yep, that's on R&R Tire Express. You don't have to worry about that. All you have to do is request a quick quote at rnrtires.com to lock in your $20 deal. No commitment, no credit checks, no worries. R&R Tire Express offers flexible weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly payment options based on your budget. Plus, you'll secure peace of mind coverage that includes free rotations, free flat repair, and more. You're $20 away from hitting the road on reliable tires, so why wait? Just request that quick quote at rnrtires.com. You could also call 1-833-ROLL-NOW to get started today. You can pay more than the minimum payment. If you want to get your tires paid off quicker and save that money, great. No credit needed. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. Everyone is approved at R&R Tire Express. So give them a shot. rnrtires.com. Get the tires that you want, all for just putting down $20. Again, at R&R Tire Express.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals lost yesterday to the New York Mets by a final score of 7-5. Willson Contreras suffered an arm injury after being hit by J.D. Martinez. His recovery time is looking to be 6 to 8 weeks after surgery. The Cardinals game today between up against the Mets has been postponed. It will be made up Monday, August 5th at 4 p.m. Central Time. We talked earlier today with Brad Thompson and Mike Matheny. If you missed those interviews, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
With Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Time for the biggest question of the day. What do you got, Marsh?
All right, this is a text from the 618. I found this to be interesting. Want to know what you guys think of it. Have long thought that the Cardinals do not have the people in place to interpret and apply analytics. I believe they are a tool that can be used, but should not be the driving point of all coaching. Do you guys think that the Cardinals don't have enough people in that department? I know we always talk about analytics, and some people think that they're using too much analytics. Do you think the Cardinals don't have enough people to provide that information compared to other Major League Baseball teams?
That's tough to answer for a couple of reasons. One is I don't think any of us really know how many staff members the Cardinals have.
Yeah, dedicated to it.
Or certainly, yeah, or specific people, to your point, Anthony, dedicated to that process. And then if we don't know that, how can we compare it to, I don't know, the Dodgers
Right.
or the Braves? Like, and then does more equal better? Like, or does just the right guys equal better?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I mean, I know a couple of years ago, Jamie's right. I don't know what the Dodgers, I know they have a huge scouting department. Do they also have a huge department dedicated to their analytics? I don't know. I know at one point the Giants had like a coach for every player, it seemed like. But do you have somebody that can convey the information? Do you have somebody that understands that Carey doesn't want a lot of analytics, but Jamie does? Do you have a coaching staff that understands how you're going to maximize the information for that player? I think that's the key, as opposed to whether or not you're necessarily understaffed on the analytic team or in the analytic department.
I just think at the end of the day, no matter what your style is, and to your point, Jamie, we don't know how much or how little they have or what they use or how they use it. At the end of the day, the results are all that matters. Whether it's so much analytics it makes your eyes pop out of your head, but it works, or it's not hardly any analytics, but it works. Whatever works for you is what you should do. The problem is we don't know, and whatever it is, it's not working right now. It didn't work last year. So finding that right balance of, yes, this works for me, no, that doesn't work for me, collectively, this is how we're going to go about our business. Whatever that number is or whatever that measurement is, the Cardinals have to find that and play better. At the end of the day, I don't care how you get that done, but you have to play better. I don't give a damn if you're literally looking at analytics in the on-deck circle. Whatever you have to do to hit the ball in the outfield, over the fence, to the right side so the runner can get the second. Productive outs. We like those. Whatever it is. Those two. Whatever it requires, do that. And nobody will complain. If the Dodgers have every analytical staff, they got 45 people for analytics. Shohei is hitting the ball well. It works for them. Or if they have one person, it works for them. It works for him. Mm-hmm. So, to each his own. But the bottom line is you have to produce, and the Cardinals at this moment are not producing well enough.
Yeah, I don't ultimately know how important it is to have a bigger staff of people. I like to go one step further with it, and you can hire 5 or 500 people in your analytics department. Go ahead. But then I need to hire about 3 or 4 that can translate it to the players.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the players are being fed a lot of information, and we do see it in all sports, that there's the analytics team will be down after practice talking to the players and showing them things and whatnot, which is fine because everybody's trying to help the team win. But ultimately, not every player can process the information that they're being given. And I think that it's important to have a couple of conduits to where you've got coaches, maybe former players at college, AAA, or preferably Major League level, that can take those numbers and dumb it down to where it's like, hey, you need to swing like this and translate what's actually being, observed by the analytics department. I think that, for me, would be a good start because I think that too many players are just being bombarded by so many different numbers right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. When we come back, we got Bet the Board, we've got 3 stars of the day, and we've got criticisms and compliments. So we'll wrap up the show next on 101 ESPN.
Are you looking to save money on your car or your home insurance? Or maybe you're driving around out there today wondering, what exactly do I have for coverage here? That's a bad feeling. I don't wish that upon anybody, and that was me before I met Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. And what Tracy does is, one, they battle for you. They want to get the best rate available at any particular time, but they make sure you're covered. So when things like today happen, whether it's your home or your car, you are covered. You don't have to worry about things. And then the best part about it is, if something does happen, you don't have to stress about trying to explain it all to somebody who doesn't even know your name. You call the Bibb Agency and you get that incredible customer service. They're going to walk you through the process. They're going to make you feel a lot more calm, a lot more at ease about things. And let's not forget, they're definitely going to have you covered the right way. And if you're driving around right now and you don't have that kind of relationship with your insurance agent, call Tracy Bibb and get a free non-committal quote. That number is 314-328-4260. Again, 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands. Tracy Bibb.
If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com, your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire Auto Centers. Time to bet the board. Marsh, what we got? Latest standings?
Oh, yeah. 4-0, Anthony.
All right. You're right there, too, though, right?
I'm 3-1, and Jamie and Carey are 1-4.
We are 1-4.
We're 1-4?
Yeah.
1-4.
So he's 5-0.
I'm sorry, yeah. No, Anthony, you are 5-0, my bad.
I'm 5-0, you're 4-1. Marsh?
Yes.
Okay.
4.
All righty.
Well, how do we know if anything's right?
I mean, at this point, I think the numbers are all the way off.
Maybe we're 2 and 3.
More
Carey.
games.
No, I have. Just because I can't do
Whole
math.
system's flawed now.
Everything is wrong at this moment. Question everything.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not even playing this game anymore.
So I asked our two hockey resident experts here, Carey, Carey, absolutely, Carey, Jamie, and Marsh. Carey, I asked you as well. So our 3 hockey experts about this total tonight. I think the total in Boston and Florida is too low. Marsh and Jamie are like, you're an absolute fool. The under all the way. So I'm going to take the over 5.5 tonight in the Boston-Florida game. Good for you. Guys see a 3?
Better hope there isn't a defensive struggle.
Yeah, I know, right?
By your definition, I'm hoping there is.
Oh, I got it backwards again. Get it right. All right, Marshy.
Yeah, I'm absolutely fading that. I'm taking the under in the same game.
Bring it.
Wow.
Look, catch up.
Carey, what basketball game you playing tonight?
Oh, it's only one game. It's only one. I thought about looking at the,
Jalen Brunson.
Canucks and the Oilers, but I don't know enough. So I'm going to go with, no, I will not deal with Jalen Brunson again, but I will go with the Knicks to win. They are minus 4.5 at home. Madison Square Garden. New York Knicks.
So Knicks minus 4.5 or straight up?
No,
I don't think
I'll take straight up.
I don't think you go
They're minus 198.
Yeah.
Can I have it?
No.
I mean, I'm struggling.
There's a lot of things I'll give you, Carey. That's
defensive
not one of them.
struggle over here, right?
Yes. Who knows?
Unbelievable.
I'm lost.
Struggling to get points. It's a defensive struggle.
It is. Totally.
Right? No? I don't know.
No, apparently not.
Yes.
So I said it right.
Yeah,
It's a defensive struggle
I'm
if it's a
struggling
low
to get
scoring.
points.
We're struggling.
We are struggling.
We are.
Good thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to the NHL. I want to take the Panthers because it's going to be an absolute boot stomping of the Bruins tonight. But the odds are just a little too high
What
there.
do you think, 5-1? 5-1 Florida?
No, I think it's more of a 3-1 game. Anyways.
That's not a boot stomping.
It is. I mean, playoffs, any win is a boot stomp. But I'm going with the Oilers. Oilers minus 137 at the Canucks. The Oilers, their firepower has been a lot for teams to handle, specifically in game 1s of their series. So I got the Oilers. Connor McJesus, please.
Marsh, what do we got for criticisms and compliments?
You got a text earlier from the 661. Just saw Marsh's version of a double rainbow while listening to us. And that double rainbow were actually 2 Saliga trucks side by side on the road.
Wow. All right. I like that.
Taste the rainbow, Carey.
Yeah. Skittles.
Yep. Beast mode.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have one from the 636. Anthony must be an awesome husband with all that BS he's able to spew on the fly.
Wow.
All right. In fairness to me, do you know why I hand out a lot of BS sometimes? Because the legends never die.
They got me with that.
Did I get you, Carey? You're tough to get. I had to speed it up that time. Normally I have a pause, but you always know it's coming.
Yep,
Good.
You got me with that one.
That was good.
Makes my show.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll take the first part of that as a compliment. Second part, I'll just leave to the side.
Just information.
Yeah. I'll just ignore the information
analytics.
I don't like.
There you go. That's how analytics work, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day. Our 3rd star of the day goes to not my physical mustache, but the account on the YouTube, the airlines team, YouTube cameras, Snake Pit, Marsh's mustache.
Yeah.
Nice.
She fitting me, actually. Brandon said I couldn't grow a Raleigh Fingers-esque mustache.
Oh, I think you can.
I think I can, too.
Yes,
I've done it before.
Do it.
I will.
Let's go.
I'll do it.
All right.
Our second star of the day goes to Mike Matheny for joining the show. Give us some good insight. And first star of the day goes to a guy who's celebrating his anniversary of playing in Major League Baseball. That's BT.
Yeah, nice. There you go. Congratulations, BT. All righty. That'll do it for us here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Join us tomorrow. Well, not Jamie, because Jamie is he's leaving us.
I'll be
again.
working in Vegas, guys.
Yeah, sure, working. For Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers, who will be back on Monday. We will see you.